Look, Romero in goal, Jones and Twansebi. Very excited to see Twansebi. So there you
very
got
excited
it.
to see
Romero
Diego
in goal,
Dalot.
Jones
Very
and
excited to
Twansebi.
see him
Very
back as
excited
well.
to see
Rojo and
Twansebi.
Sebi. Very excited to see Diego Dalot.
Fred excited to see him. Gomez mega excited. Fred excited to see him. Gomez mega excited. Chong mega excited. Greenwood mega excited. Rashford don't really see the point. I don't think we could have a team any better than that. I really don't. I don't think we could have a team any better than that. For what we wanted in this game today. What is the starting lineup, says Travis? Well, it's that big thing next to me on the left-hand side. And what is the starting lineup, Chong in it? Well, it's that big thing next to me on the left-hand side. And look, Astana aren't that good, but fair play to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for actually give it. Look, Astana aren't that good, but fair play to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for actually because he didn't have to do it. And that scenario really because he didn't have to. Very happy. Rojo, look, Nirij says Rojo and Matic, but at the end of the day, just very happy. Would we not all take Rojo and Matic? Nirij says Rojo and Matic, but at the end of the day, I must just talk about the bench. Jordan and Matic says so happy. I must just talk about the bench. Jordan says so. Jordan, I actually think Nirij says Jordan, I actually think I must just talk about the bench. Jordan says so. I must just talk about the bench. Jordan says so. Jordan, I actually think we've got very happy to see you. I'm actually happy to see Matt. I believe that he's not being racist. Exactly. Where's Mount? What? I've got to be joking. Don't start moaning about that. The bench has got Grant on it, Maguire, Young, Garner, Mata, McTominay, and Lingard. So there's only one player I want to see on that bench, and that's James Garner. But Maguire, don't want to be using him. Ashley Young, don't want to use him. And Mata, McTominay, and Lingard. I mean, it's a dead bench. That is a really shit bench, which we shouldn't need to use. We shouldn't need to use it at all. Dimitar just retired. My heart just sank. Says Lincoln, Jack Donovan. So Dimitar just retired. Dimitar who? Dimitar retired ages ago. Rojo may give to Dimitar just retired. Penalty kick, says Noah Lee. I'll be very surprised if
United ahead again. Marcus Rashford in the second half of extra time.
Garner is on the bench.
United now leading 2-1 on the night. 3-2 on
the subscriber count is sort of broken.
United through to the semi-finals of the Europa League. Stockholm's on the horizon.
So please do subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner.
They've got through to the semi-finals of the Europa League. Rashford the hero. Brexit can wait. United the last.
So please do subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Kickoff is not from around.
United in the northwest corner of Spain to face Celta Vigo for the first time. It is hope against expectation. Two clubs at either end of the scale in terms of history and resources. Celta do specialise in giving the big clubs a bloody nose. Big free kick for United.
I think at the end of the day,
it is going to be Rashford who takes it in all the way. That's the away goal for Manchester United, and a special one from Marcus Rashford.
He's a senior international.
Rashford,
senior player for Manchester.
He's looking for Fellaini. United on the road to Stockholm.
I think Greenwood could be our Tammy Abraham if he played into about 10 games.
2-0 on aggregate.
I don't think that's the plan with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
And the header's in. And Celta Vigo
game in, game out because he's only 17. He was only 17 years old. But I want to just draw some light onto one. Arsenal are playing Frankfurt today, which is if we were playing Frankfurt away, I don't know whether we'd play the amount of kids that we've done. But look at the Arsenal team. Chambers, Mustafi, David Luiz, Kolasinac, Torreira, Xhaka. Aubameyang. All right, they've got Smith Rowe, Willock, and Saka playing, but it's still a pretty experienced team for them. And their bench has got Ceballos on it, Pepe's on it, Nelson, Guendouzi, Maitland-Niles. So they've gone with a very experienced team, Arsenal. So, United have got to take advantage of this opportunity, and I certainly didn't think that they've done that. Christian Carpenter says, does that mean Fred won't play this weekend? It probably does mean Fred won't start against West Ham, which I think is a little bit unfortunate. But having said that, you've got to just go into this game, and it's an opportunity for Gomez, it's an opportunity for Fred and Greenwood and Chong to express themselves. They're not all going to have a good game tonight, but there is an opportunity there, and Astana are they're gonna bloody part the bus, aren't they? Really excited to see this team, Gomez and Greenwood especially. Let's see what they got. Fred, it's your time to shine, says Matt Rush. And should we have played Lingard rather than Rashford to rest him against West Ham, says Simon Heldon? Yeah, 100%. 100%. I would not have played Rashford tonight. I think Ollie's, that's the only negative, and I can't be negative because I'm just so excited, but that is the only issue I have with that team, is that why would you play Marcus Rashford again? He's going to burn out. He needs to have a break, and exactly what Illo United just said there. He needs to have a break. FIFA 20, what time, Mark, says Lewis Johnson? Well, I'm doing a bloody watch along, mate. What do you want me to do? Play a bit of FIFA 20 while I'm doing it? I have had a little go on FIFA 20, by the way, and as much as I like it, it's FIFA 20, what time? I'm pretty shit at it, to be honest. That's a little bit of a concern. I have had a little go on FIFA 20, by the way. Finally, time for the youth. Yes, Chong to annihilate those who question him tonight for sure, says Legendary Toast. I'm a massive fan of Tahith Chong, and I really do hope that tonight is his night, because I really do rate him, and I think he's exactly the sort of player that that we want to see playing for Manchester United. He's probably one of the only wingers that we've got now, because Martial doesn't play on the wing hopefully anymore. He's one of the only wingers that we've got who really does run at his man, and I think that's massively important. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. I will be playing Ultimate Team, mate, but I won't be doing it now because I'm obviously doing a FIFA, not a FIFA stream. I'm obviously doing a Manchester United game at the moment. So, but I will be doing a bit of FIFA 20 tomorrow on That's Football if people are interested in that sort of thing. Pogba and Martial, we don't know. I mean, that's something I was going to ask you lot, actually, because you might know more than me on this. But when is what was I going to say? When is we don't know. I mean, that's something I was going to ask you lot, actually. Is there a press conference for the West Ham game, or do they just not bother with it because we've got Premier League? I don't know. I don't know is the honest answer. I really don't. So we'll have to say, won't we? We'll have to wait and see. Is there a press conference for I'm just messing about with a few things here. I don't really like the lighting on this studio that much, and I need to spend a little bit more time on sourcing it out, to be honest with you, because it gets on my nerves a little bit. But we'll go with that. Just messing about with a few things here. I don't like the lighting. What else? Right. Do you think Matic should have started, says George Reyes? Well, what do you lot think? What do you think? I mean, normally the press conference is 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. I don't think it will be. Do you think Matic should have started? Do you think we will reach the final? Says Alex Aquiliani. It's a little bit early. Mark Hamill says, what is the lineup? If people aren't aware of the lineup because they can't read what's next to me on the left, or it's a little bit too small, that's what she said. The team news is Romero in goal. We've also got Jones and Twansebi as our centre backs today. We've got who else have we got? We've got Delo back in, which I think low key that's quite a significant thing to have Delo back in the team, because he's not played for a while. I think it was a bit of a shame that he missed the start of the season actually. So having him back, I'm pretty pleased with that, to be honest with you. So yeah, good news about that. Then you've got Rojo playing at centre back, which some people are not happy with, but I think he's got to start playing games, hasn't he? He's got to start playing games, so happy with that. Matic in the midfield with Fred and Gomez, we believe. Angel Gomez starts a game for Manchester United. How happy are you about that? Because I'm absolutely ecstatic with it. I think it's fantastic news, and I'm so pleased to see him play playing in a Manchester United shirt. And the most important thing as well is, and we might not talk about it enough, is the fact that these lads are actually starting. They're actually starting games for Manchester United, because it's one thing to be playing for Manchester United. To actually start for Manchester United is really, really important. And I really hope that we do see Rashford playing off the left as well, because I don't think we 100% know how that's going to line up, do we? I mean, on my screen, what have I got? I've got Rashford to the left and Greenwood to the top front with Chong on the right. If we want to see some interchangeability, without question, we want to see some interchangeability there, and I think that we will do. Mark, if Rashford plays badly tonight, surely he's a banter player and not a United stand striker. I don't think we should be judging people on one performance, to be honest with you. Rashi playing tonight may mean he isn't playing on Sunday, says Mark Pelfrey. I don't think it's that. I think it's actually just a shortage of players. He could have played Lingard tonight, but maybe that means Lingard's going to play Aubameyang is nearly in there. I don't know what it means for Sunday, but I'm sure Rashford will start. Mega Controller 26 says, have Matic at striker or Mata at centre-back. How's your day, Mark? I don't know what you're on about, putting Matic there. So excited with the lineup, says Roy Keane, simply the best. I think a lot of people are a lot excited with that lineup, and why wouldn't you be? It's fantastic. What we've seen today is a really, really big statement from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I think everybody, whether it's on the podcast or whatever it is, I think there's a lot of people that will just be saying, you know what, Ollie's finally walking the walk, and that's all we ever really wanted him to do. Walk the walk, don't talk the talk, and he's done that. So I'm really pleased to see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer actually picking a team like he's picked tonight, because it does send out a really big message that this is the way we want to go. And you know, to be honest with you, maybe there is a bit of you know, he's seeing people like Lampard, what they're doing, and you know, he's having to copy it. But I don't really mind that. I don't really have a problem with that. I think that ultimately we wanted to see that youth team today, and now we just want to see kick-off because we're excited, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? You know, we wanted this, we're going to get it, and I can't wait. Just updating the bench for you, because we've got Maguire on there and Grant's on there. Young and Garner are on there. So that's not working. But look, I mean, this is the game. In many ways, this is the perfect game, and it's the perfect draw for Manchester United. Because if we had been like Arsenal playing Eintracht Frankfurt away, then I don't think for 1 minute we would have seen a team like this. It is the perfect scenario. It is a really, look, I don't want to be too disrespectful, but it's a really poor side that we're playing. They're not very good, and because of that, it gives us a real opportunity to go and not only get many goals, but also for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to actually, proof in the pudding really, get out there and pick the team that he believes in, apparently, that we believe in, and I'm looking forward to it. What I would say is, let's not put too much pressure on. This is the whole point. This is the whole point when you do play youngsters. Don't put too much pressure on them, because if you do, you might find yourself being a little bit disappointed. But for one thing, you know, this is going to be a backs to the wall job by Astana. They are going to do that, and you know, the longer it takes for United to score, the more frustrated it may get. But we've got to be patient, and we've got to be brave with that, because ultimately, the one thing I would say is that when it comes to young players, they are going to take their time. Of course they're going to take their time. That's exactly what it's all about. It takes time for these people to come into fruition. So yeah, I think, well, hopefully we're going to get blown away tonight with what we see, but you know, it might not go that way, and if it doesn't go that way, I think we've just got to be a little bit patient, because we wanted this, and does anyone know what James Garner's number is? Because I don't even actually have him as a squad number to do the subs, so if anyone knows what his squad number is, that would be great. 5-0 tonight, Mark, and 19 on Monday, daddy time, says Matt of Darley. Well done. Joe Wynn Daniel says, calling sick and heading home early from work to watch the game. That's how excited I am about this lineup. Can't wait. Well, who said the Europa League had to be depressing? It's great, isn't it? This is more exciting than bloody Leicester was last week. Simon Holden says, Mark, I think starting Rashford might be about having some experience up front with 2 youth players. Also, it can be a nice way to see how these 3 work together. Look, there's no doubt in my mind that Marcus Rashford will want to play in this game. Jesse's still on the bench. Ollie doing the right things, says Ashbrit Sane. Come on, you're letting me down, you lot. What number is he? Look, there's no doubt. 37. Yeah, he's number 37. So why have I not got number 37 there? I haven't got him. That's a real letdown. Sack, draw to the devil for not having number 37 for Ghana. But I will have this lineup for you in a moment because I like to have it right. Right, I think I've got it finally right now. Good. So yeah, just an air of positivity around the show tonight, and why wouldn't there be? Because we've got what we wanted. We've got the team that we wanted. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is listening again, and that's just fantastic, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. Right, let me see tonight, and why wouldn't there be? Because we've got what we wanted. We've got the team that we wanted. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is listening again, and that's just fantastic, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. Right.
Against Van der Sar. Oh, it got in just. Who is infinitely less experienced. Nani keeps Manchester United in it. Chelsea, who has felt the pain of the semi-final defeats in the Champions League for Chelsea, has the chance to win the Champions League for Chelsea. And it's a chance that has passed him by, and the agony is there again. In the Champions League for Chelsea, has the chance to win the Champions League for Chelsea, and it's a chance that has passed him by, and the agony is there again. In the Champions League for Chelsea, has the chance to win the Champions League for Chelsea, and it's a chance that has passed him by, and the agony is there again.
Yeah, it's just shit happens, man. That's just what happens sometimes.
It's working now. It's working on. I'm live now. I'm on the main one, but it's just not working on that scene.
Oh, did you put it to the top?
Yeah.
It's just shit happens, man.
It's working now. It's working on. I'm live now. I'm on the main one, but it's just not working on that scene.
Oh, did you put it to the top?
Yeah. So when I go back to the other screen, it's working. All right, no worries, mate. Cheers. That's disappointing. I can't use my. Look how shit my lovely light's gone again. I tell you what, this is not going well tonight. That's ridiculously bright. I've gone like faded. Oh, I'm not happy with this tonight. I'm not happy with this at all. Look how shit really not happy. Light's gone again. I tell you what, this is not. Why have I gone all bloody faded? Like my lighting's shit. I'm going back to XSplit. Obs can kiss my arse. It's shite. You can hear me on here now. This is what happens when you're live. This is what happens when you're live. Things go wrong. And you know what that means now? What it also means is I always go to that other cutaway screen so I can have a stand up and stretch my legs. So I'm going to have to start doing this again. I'll go invisible. Now I can have a stretch and everything like that. and it makes me look like I'm invisible. But yeah, a little bit disappointing, especially when I spent so long bloody doing it. But yeah, I'm back now. Look, hello. Right, let's get into the live comments. So I can't actually predict how we're going to play because you're not going to get any audio with me for some reason. The wonders of live, the wonders of being live. It's a great thing, isn't it? It's an absolutely great thing. But I can't actually predict how we're going to. I just can't wait. I'm in a moment of clarity. I just cannot wait to see that. God, apparently Chelsea have given Callum Hudson-Odoi a new 5-year contract with around £180,000 a week. What a joke! Like he's barely played 500 minutes of football. The world's gone mad, everybody. Joshua Seapole says, Mark, we're actually playing your 4-3-3. Matic as CDM, Fred and Gomez as CM, Chong left wing, Rochford right wing, and Greenwood striker. I don't know. I'll reserve judgment on how we're actually going to line up. I'm not convinced that we will actually play with Rashford on the right. I think Rashford will be off the left with Chong on the right. And hopefully Greenwood through the middle. But we might see Greenwood off the right, Rashford down the middle. That would annoy me. But you know, you can't get everything you want, and we have got the team that we want. So let's just hope that that's okay. Who is the captain is a very good point. I'm going to guess that the captain is that would annoy me. But Matic. You can't get everything you want, and we have got the team. Yeah, bloody Matic, captain. Makes you want to throw up, doesn't it? I mean, that's disgusting. Why? How can Matic be captain of Manchester United when he less than a week ago he was slagging the manager off? I mean, I'd rather have Phil Jones as captain. It's a joke. How is Matic captain of Manchester United tonight? Give it to bloody Romero. Jokes. Shyam, I don't like Matic, as a lot of people will know. Shyam says, Hi Mark, this is my first message to you, and this comes from a state of being ecstatic at the team we are looking at right now. Desperately waiting for the kick-off. Cheers from Mumbai, Idiot. Yes, that is the positive that we need. Donkey Matic says Saun Galashan. So excited to see Matic as Ewan Vickers. And Rashford should be captain, says Young Khan. Yeah, anybody but Matic, basically. Anybody but Matic. He doesn't deserve it, and he's mildly cretinous. So he should. You know, I find it funny that he's allowed to tweet out about not tweet. He's allowed to say stuff about the manager, and then he's the captain of Manchester United. It's just crazy. It's crazy. He did slag Ollie off Byron Hall. He liked a comment saying that he should be starting. That's slagging the manager off. Go and say it to his face, pussy. Anyway, if you want to defend Matic, someone might want to, because he's absolutely crap and he can't defend himself. Go for it. Greenwood captain's Fortnite legend. That would be fun. That would be fun if he was the captain, but he's not. Okay, why is your sub count not working, says Prab. Please do subscribe to the channel, because we're running an experiment tonight. We're trying to establish whether... we've just gone up to 547 there, whether it's going to update every 100. Basically, YouTube has changed the subscriber notification now. It used to be one every subscriber it changed. But now, we can't figure out whether it's doing it every 100 or every 1,000. So please do subscribe to the United Stand if you're new, bottom right-hand corner anyway. We're live every night at 8 o'clock. We do watch-alongs every game. We've got fan cams after the game. We've got match reactions, previews. We go live if there's any big breaking news. Fantastic community. Call-ins as well. Get involved. And Jordan Such says, is it true United are looking to give Lingard a new contract? Apparently so. It's ridiculous. Pogba is obviously still injured, Umar, but he probably wouldn't be involved in this game anyway, I don't think, which I think we would all agree with. It's probably not the right game for Paul Pogba to play. Matic has the speed of a Roomba, says Hammy Westside. He's got the speed of a constipated dead frog. That's what he's got. That means Matic doesn't play against West Ham if playing tonight, so that's surely good news, says Carl Cram. Exactly. Finally, a manager with some balls, says Gamer Jim. I think medically, Jose Mourinho, Van Gaal, and Moyes actually did have 2 testicles. But I know what you mean in the footballing sense. To play the youth, it's great. Mark, did you see how good Di Maria was good at PSG last night? You should have kept him, says Zayn Miassi. I don't think he wanted to stay, mate. I think that was the problem with him. He did not want to stay at Manchester United, so we let him go.
Mark, did you see
we
how
let him
good
go.
Di Maria was good at PSG?
And I think it was the right thing to do at the end of the day. I do. I think if a player doesn't want to be here, you let them go. You can't do anything else. You've got to do it. You've got to do it. Cement boots Matic, says Will Hanley.
And I think it was the right thing.
Well, yeah. I'm just messing around with stuff now because I'm not actually happy with. The lighting on the show tonight is doing my head in, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so it winds me up. I might have to just go with that.
The lighting on the
Still
show
not as good
tonight
as I
is
would
doing my
like
head
it to be.
and I'm a bit of a perfectionist.
So it winds me up. We've had another super chat coming in from Matt Rush. Do you think we might sign anyone in January? Mark, can't see it myself. Oh, I'm bored. Sorry, Matt. Thanks for the contribution. I'm bored of talking about signings. Like, we've just been let down in summer by this board, and people still think that they're going to do something. They're going to do something significant in the transfer window, and I just don't. I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. I don't think United will be making any signings in January. I hope I'm wrong. But I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I really don't. And also, I think it's an irrelevance. We've just got to go with what we've got. And actually, the positive side of things is that we have got this situation tonight, haven't we? Seen this I've got. You can't see it because it's invisible, because it's green. That's brilliant. We've had a super chat coming in from Anup Alipan. He says, really excited about the lineup. One question to you. We have put all our attacking players in the starting lineup. It's exciting, but who can we bring in as a sub from the bench if failed to score in the first half? Well, unfortunately, for some bloody reason, I can't keep my audio going when I change screen here. It's exciting, but who can we bring in as a sub from the bench if failed to score in the first half? Well, unfortunately, for some bloody reason, I can't keep my audio going when I change screen here. I can't show you because it won't work, which is really annoying. But the bench has got Grant on it, Maguire on it, but you're quite right. It's got Young on it as well. It's got McTominay, Mata, Lingard really as the attacking options, and yeah, it's not great. It's not great. It's not a great bench. I think we just have to accept that and move with what it is. It's could be better, but it's not. Happy days. Okay. Mark got the double of the viewers than Manchester United official YouTube channel, says Young Khan. What do you expect? We talk real talk on here. Mark, you said Pogba would sort out the Madrid midfield. He's been average for 3 years. He's had a few good seasons at Juve, and that's it. A world-class player is consistent. He's not consistent. Look, Zane, I know you like to make loads of contributions to make yourself look like you're great, but if you're not going to improve your comments, I don't really want to read them out. You always default back to talking about Pogba. Pogba's not playing tonight. It's an irrelevance to talk about Paul Pogba, and you must have asked that question about 20 times. So I'm just, if you don't make good comments, I'm not going to read them out, because I think some people are under this assumption that because you make a contribution, that we've got to read it out. And you make loads of contributions, and that's very nice of you. But you actually dominate the live comments with crap comments sometimes, and you must do better. Something wrong with the subscriber page, mate, says Martin Hammett Mason. There isn't. It's just YouTube has prevented the automatic update of each subscriber now. So please do subscribe if you're new. We're trying to. It's in general against you across YouTube as well. Hi Mark, why isn't Gomez involved? Unfit, says Lars Eric Brabakken. I really hope that's a joke. And Gold Piece, somebody tell him. Gold Piece Prosperity says the earth is flat. Thoughts on David Icke? Yeah, again, thanks for the contribution, but I'm just not going to start talking about stuff just because you asked to put it on a super chat anymore, because it gets boring, doesn't it? Gold Piece Prosperity says the earth is flat. Bruno Fernandes is a mediocre player, says Neil Zero. What's gone wrong with the live comments? Sort yourselves out. Bloody hell, Zane started it off and you're all getting worse. Ryan Manicum says Zane out. Mark, do you think Fred will play this weekend, says Shagan G? Well, what I would say about Zayn Miassi is he makes out he's an Arsenal fan, right? Yet he's contributing on a United stand stream when United haven't even kicked off and Arsenal are actually playing. He's an undercover Welbeck. Salty we sold him, says Gaming Fan. He could well be. He could well be. Yet he's contributing on a United stand stream when United haven't even kicked off and Arsenal are actually playing. He's an undercover Welbeck. Salty we sold him, says Gaming Fan. He could well be. He could well be. Jorty, you make me laugh. You make me laugh. You make me laugh. Loving that T-shirt, Mark, says Izio Ichichu. If you want to get it, you can get it. Links in the video description. We go worldwide. True United. As a Pogba fan, I'm pleased with you, Zane. Full of bullshit. Predictions, Mark, says Ollie Man. Well, let's do the predictions bit. Actually, we have got nearly 10,000 people watching, which I think is fantastic because I think you are fantastic. Thanks for the what was that? You're a good boy, says Daniel Maddock. Thanks for that, mate. And look, the light's a lot better when I have my phone on my face, isn't it? Which I think is fantastic because I think you are. I was thinking something else then. Score a prediction, says Jesus no. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Manchester United to win this game by let's see what we're going to go with. I'm going to go Manchester. I'm doing a calculation on my calculator. X2 plus 4 equals Y squared. I'm going to say that Manchester United will win this game by... You know what? I'm going to be brave. I'm going to say 6-0. What do you think about that then? I'm going to say 6-0 to Manchester United. What about that? What about that? That shocked a lot of you, I bet. 6-0 Manchester United. Yeah. Somebody just said 1-0. Look, you know what? I think there's a lot of, not a lot of joy, there's a lot of sense in that person who just said 1-0, because how many times do you think, we're going to smash the arse off them, and then you actually end up not having that happen? Wanted to thank you and everyone at the United Stand for everything you do, including families and support. You provide consistent, high-quality content, says Brian. Thank you, Brian. That is one of the nicer comments we've had, so I really appreciate that. And you're part of the family as well, Brian, and everybody's part of the United Stand community. Which reminds me, Christmas party, keep it free. It's in Manchester on December the 5th. I'm not going to say where it is yet, and we will be releasing the tickets soon. It's going to be a great night. I've booked the DJ, and you know me, I'm old school, so the DJ will be playing Christmas classics. Don't you just hate it when you go to a work Christmas party and they don't play Slade and everything like that? So we'll have a right old good night that night. Keep it free. Thursday, December the 5th. We really need a clinical goal-getter and a leader, a la Keane, in centre midfield. Any wishes, Mark, says Ketty Helsland. Tonight, I'm going to be really greedy and say, I really, really hope that the young lads do well. Fred, I want Fred to do well, but I'm not going to be greedy. I would rather Gomez and Chong and Greenwood had worldies tonight and Fred didn't play that well, because I just think it's a massive opportunity for them tonight, and I want them to be involved more and more and more. Anthony's excited for Christmas. Matt a tip to take Fred the Reds job soon, says Martin Mason. Matt is just a very good vlog writer, isn't he? That's what he does. That is what he does. And he does it very well. He does it very well indeed. Okay. Young is the best captain Manchester United have ever had. Disgrace he's not playing, says WST Dylan. I like the cut of your jokes. Good stuff. Hi Mark, I'm from Australia and I have to say this channel is fantastic. I enjoy watching it. Keep up the great work. That's from Thomas Gilmore. And please do subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Hi Mark, I'm from Australia and I have to say this channel is fantastic. I enjoy watching it. Keep up the great work. That's from Thomas Gilmore. I'm actually just please do subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Myself. Imagine if you sent messages to yourself. Okay, come on Fred the Red, it's your time. Greenwood hat-trick incoming, says Leaf Hunter. It was Illa United. Why do I always notice Illa United gets a lot of shout outs, and it's amazing because we have such a vibrant and fantastic live comments that, you know, some people always moan you never read me out, but it's because there's so many. But Iller United always seems to catch my eye. Opinion on how Gomez will perform in this game, says Nathan Williams. Look, he is against men tonight. They might not be the greatest team, Astana, but they do win the title in their league, and they do, you know, deserve this right to be in this tournament, because that's the rules. But I think that he is against men tonight. They might not be the greatest team, Astana, but they do win the title. If I was being absolutely honest, I sort of feel that one or two of them might not have a good game tonight, because it's very, very difficult. It's very difficult. But on the other hand, what if they just all turn up and do fantastically well? Sorry, Mark, where did you say the party was, says Dan O'Keefe. It's going to be in Manchester. We've not released the venue yet, but it's going to be Thursday, December the 5th. And it's in Manchester. So yes, get yourself ready for that. We'll be releasing the tickets very, very soon. And yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait for that. Can't wait for that. Mark, I'm stuck in a tropical storm, but I'm still following my team in the fan channel. Love from Houston, says Marky. Look, if it gets too close to your house, forget United stand, forget Manchester United, and take cover. Take cover. That's for the love of God. We're good, but we're not that good. And Angel Gomez starting is great, but it's not that great. Forget Manchester United and take cover. Take cover. Right. For the love of God. Done a little bit of work there. What do you think of the lineup? I've just joined, says Tyler Jackson. Especially for you, Tyler. Up yours! Up yours! Not you, Tyler. Up yours, haters. Up yours. We're playing the youth. We're playing the youth. And yeah, I'm really happy about it. Really happy about it. I actually think this has probably been one of the most enjoyable we've done in a long time, because we always have something to moan about, and there is still something to moan about. If you really, for those people who like a moan, I would still moan about the fact that Matic is captain. Why? I don't want to see him captain. And I'd also have a little bit of moan about why Marcus Rashford's starting, because at some point he's going to get injured. He like literally never stops playing football, and you know what? That's great, but it will catch up with him, and you've got to look after him. You've got to look after him, because you know we don't want to be losing people for injuries. Should United sign Haaland from Red Bull Salzburg, says Andreas Rasmussen. It's not a priority for me. We need a midfielder, but he looks quite good, doesn't he? Hazim Bazini says, honestly, I love your content, and I'm proud we built a family here where we can share our opinions, struggles and laughter. Love you, man. Thank you, Hazim. And Harsin Slidar says, I actually think starting this game and scoring a bunch of goals will do Rashford's confidence a world of good. Trust in the process, and I love the new podcast. Yeah, you can listen to our weekly podcast, me and Flex. Links are in the video description for that, iTunes, Spotify, and other things. Metal Music, and he's right as well. Rashford tonight, it'd be nice if Rashford did score a couple of goals tonight. I mean, I'm not a Rashford hater. I know a lot of people are fed up with Rashford, but I like Rashford, and I do believe in him. At the moment, he's just not good enough, but I do believe he can come good. Metal Music Review says, really good that Delo is back, and I hope he has a blinder, plus Greenwood and Gomez. Nice game here to help develop combinations. 4-3-3 formation is a good choice as well. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. You're right. Yeah. You're right, because we do want to see Delo. We do want to see Delo. Chong is starting. Mark, you're burn my face chances, says Ali K. And Brenda Mayasi says, hey Mark Goldbridge, I'm Zane's wife. I did not give him permission to waste so much money on you. He's wasted thousands. Please block him. That's your funniest post, yeah. You even changed your name as well. Chloe Jenkins says, do you think Ollie has made a mistake playing two left-footers in midfield? Surely McSauce right foot alongside Fred would be more balanced. A very, very tactical view of it, Chloe, to be honest with you. But I think that ultimately McTominay needs a rest. McTominay does need a rest, because we've got a lot of games coming up, and you know, McTominay is now important, isn't he? You know, McTominay's getting a rest so that Matic can play, and that means McTominay will play on Sunday. So you know, I wouldn't have played McTominay tonight, if I'm absolutely honest with you. I think that we need him to not play, if that makes sense. Anyway, let me just drop into here, because I'm waiting hopefully for Paul at some point. Hi Mark, all the way from South Africa, and I love the channel, says Renato Swartz. Yes, please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. we're in a state of confusion at the moment as to what's happening with the actual subscriber count with YouTube. I can see it is going up gradually.
Yes, please do subscribe to the channel if you're new.
We are on 547,000, so please do subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I can update you on what we actually are in by going through the back system. Okay, MZX says, hi Mark, Rashford form has been poor since the Chelsea game. Do you think it's a dip in form, or does he not have the quality we think he has? I just think with Rashford there's an element of he maybe thinks he's already made it. Fellaini over anyone, to be honest, is Hazim Bazalouni. Obviously a big fan of his. And Callum Sangster, thank you for the contribution there. Paul, can you hear me?
I just think with Rashford there's an element.
Thought I heard him.
Hello mate, yeah, you right?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. You?
Fellaini over anyone, to be honest, is Hazim.
Yeah, fine, cheers pal.
Good. So, thoughts on the team first of all.
Paul, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's not to like, mate? It's basically what you put out on it. It's what everybody wants, as far as I'm concerned. And
yeah, fine, cheers.
yeah, I'm just hopeful for a good game. I want individual performances, but I also want like consistent team performance. Because you got to bear in mind, all these players have been lumped into a team that haven't really played together much. So when looking at the overall like body of work, you got to bear that in mind. But dead excited to see Gomez, Fred, and Delo. I mean, we've been talking about the youth, but those two are going to be really important.
Yeah, I mean, just is there an element of Darshan Singhvi says, do you think Brandon over Rojo to be given a chance? Well, he's not even on the bench, mate, so that wasn't going to happen. But with regards to Gomez and Chong and Greenwood, are you actually... I've got to be honest here, and this is why I'm going to give Ollie a bit of credit. I'm actually surprised. I know we knew that Greenwood and Twansabi was starting. I didn't think he would start Greenwood, Gomez and Chong all together. He didn't even do that in the pre-season. So I'm very, very excited, and I'm very, I suppose, grateful. But I'm just glad that he's finally walking the walk, because he's talked the talk for a long time.
He didn't even do that in the pre-season.
Sorry, mate, you broke up a little bit there, but it surprised me too. I didn't think he would. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd start all of them. I thought he was going to bench Gomez. So that was magic when I saw that. That made my day. Honestly, God, that made my day. I was like, right. Everything else based around that's great, but Gomez starting, he's the key position we need in the starting lineup. And if he performs well today, then he should start against West Ham. If he performs well today, this is it. There's a little catch-22 here, because if we get players that perform well today from the youth setup, and then Ollie slips back into standard territory with Matic and Lingard, then that's going to be an issue for me. So, there's still work to be done after this game, but looking at this game, how could you not be excited with that lineup? It's got goals everywhere.
I personally think there's absolutely no chance that Gomez or Chong or Greenwood start against West Ham, even if they have their best game we've ever seen. I just don't think that's the plan Ollie's got. And whether you agree with that or not, you could, I think they'll then play against Rochdale. I think that's what he's going to do. But tonight's the opportunity, and I've said this before. It's like, would I pick Twansebi over Lindelof? No, not at the moment. But if Twansebi does start doing really, really good things, then he might force Lindelof out through pure ability. But the opportunity's there for them tonight. I mean, I know we talk Astana down, but they're professional footballers in some way, and they are also going to play very defensive. So it will be it'll be a packed out Old Trafford. So it's a massive game for these kids, and they've got the platform there now. Let's see what they can do.
Yeah, they have, and it's not as if this is an important game. It's the team we're playing at the moment. Let's face it, it's going to be base level. They're going to sit back, but they're going to mimic a lot of traits that we're going to get in the Premier League when we play bottom 10 teams. So this is quite good practice for the new kids coming in, for the people who haven't played much, to play against the sort of setup we're going to see quite often, and in the Europa League, and in the early stages of the Cup. So, in my opinion, this is a good test. It's a very good test. It's a very good lead-up. But I'm still going to be annoyed if Gomez has a good game, performs excellently, and then gets benched for the next game. Based on the performances of Mata and Lingard, I don't see them being put back in as a step forward. I really don't. I know Gomez needs a lot more experience, but with Greenwood, if Martial comes in, you can understand it. Rashford, he's going to take the centre forward role over Greenwood, even if he gets a goal or a brace. But we need that central midfield creativity. And if Gomez is my main focus at the moment, but Fred, he can take a place next to McTominay, and I think that'll improve our football getting on the front foot so much. There's a lot of diversity in this to pick through. If we have a great performance, it's going to give Ollie some questions.
Lars Eric Brockhalken says, love the show, love the new layout. Sorry about the Gomez question. I only looked at the front three. Guess I'm blind. Do you think Garner will get game time today? I'd like to see Garner getting some game time, and I think if we were 3 or 4-0 up, it would be wrong not to get him on for Matic at some point. Joshua Naylor says, I think Matic is class and should be playing more. You're taking the piss, mate. No one believes you. And if you do think that, it's up to you, isn't it? But you're wrong. Anyway, what I was going to say is, look, the great thing about this is it's the first game in the Europa League. We got mocked roundly for being in the Europa League. It is the Emmerdale Cup. We've got to go to Kazakhstan. We're playing the Kazakhstan team. We've got to go to Serbia. It's not a very glamorous tournament to be in. But what a fantastic goal Arsenal have just scored there, and I think that's one of their youth players as well, Xhaka. So they're going to be chanting about their youth, and they're doing it against the better team, to be fair. So it's a very, very good goal for Arsenal, that was. And they're doing it away against Eintracht Frankfurt. So they're going to be saying, we will get that. But to be honest with you, I'm not really interested in what Arsenal are doing. I'm interested in what Manchester United are doing. And this, for everybody who's at Old Trafford tonight, they've been rewarded, and they're going to probably get a more exciting game than one of the most exciting games we've seen at Old Trafford in years, to be honest, because we are culture vultures at Manchester United. We do love our youth players, and alright, it might be Kazakhstan's best team at Old Trafford, but as Metal Music Review says, Astana will no doubt sit deep and compact a la Crystal Palace. If these kids break them down and scores goals, it's got to open Ollie's eyes. So yeah, it's just a big, massive game, and it suddenly makes the Europa League, was what I was going to say, a lot more exciting. Astana will no doubt sit deep and compact.
Yeah, Metal Music Review just said exactly what I've been saying in terms of if the low block setup's going to be very similar to a lot of teams that we play. If we have a successful way of breaking this team down with the lineup that we have, and there's a few key attributes to that, as in maybe Gomez or Chong, if they don't play the next game, it just seems silly to me, but I would understand why they wouldn't. This is a perfect time to shine. These kids are chomping at the bit, as Ollie would say, to get in the team. Now they're there. This is rabbit in the headlights time. What do? Do you step up or do you shrink? And I think that's what Ollie wants to find out. And we're hoping everybody steps up. But as you say, Arsenal have got 2 youth products scoring tonight. Chelsea have got youth products playing in the Premier League already. Everyone's got the best youth if you think about your own team. But I do believe in a couple of these kids, I really do. And I think if a couple of these kids can step forward this season and get in the first team next season with a couple of purchases as well, we're looking good. So they're very important to us at the moment. Tonight's the first step, hopefully, on their progression to get in the Premier League every week.
Arsenal have just scored again. I don't know. I don't actually know how good Eintracht Frankfurt's team is, but how good the team they've put out. But they must be.
I've been watching the game, Mark. They're not bad. They're not bad. I mean, Arsenal should have been a couple down after the first 20 minutes, to be honest. And yeah, Aubameyang's got one. So they're not bad. But I mean, I've been watching the game, and they're playing like they've got youth in their setup. Their shape's not very good. The young players want to prove themselves. They're getting out of position, which is what's going to happen to us tonight as well. So we're going to be a bit open. But I think our opposition is nowhere near as good as Arsenal's opposition at the moment, so we should absolutely batter them. And do you know what? I'm not even worried about goals. I look at performances, composure. Obviously I want 5-10 goals or whatever, but in terms of individual performances, composure on the ball, making the right decisions, doing the right thing, not being too greedy, playing the team game, and the goals will come. if you do that correctly. So that's what I want to see, and then hopefully Greenwood gets.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the United Stand. If you're watching live,
maturity. That's what I want to see tonight.
And if we get any free kicks, I hope Gomez bangs Rashford out and takes it himself. Darshan Singhvi says, my sis says she wants to marry someone like that. There's only one of me. And Metal Music Review says, Fred and Gomez to press and play fast balls forward. Watch the difference in ball movement. Yeah, but Paul's right.
The United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United transfer news, sponsored by.
It's on BT Sports 2. Dave MUFC Whitehead. I think that's what it's on. It's on straight after the Arsenal game. But you talk about press. I don't know whether it's going to be that sort of game. I mean, look, we had Alan on. He lives in Kazakhstan, and he's basically an expat. Really,
good lad.
Yeah, he's a United fan of 40 years, and he's living over there because he's working in a school. And he said that basically Astana will be one of the worst teams United have ever played in Europe. Sort of, they're not very good. It's not their fault. The rules are the rules. You get to play in Europe if you're in Europe. Whether Kazakhstan is actually in Europe is by the by. But they're not a good team. He did say they'd probably be sort of a league. I mean, I don't think they're going to be dreadful. He did say they'd probably bottom of the championship, top of the league.
How many times have you seen in the cup? Sorry, mate. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go on.
No, you play in the cup and you get a League One team stepping up, playing a huge team comparatively to what they play normally. How many times do they give Premier League teams problems, issues, just with work rate alone, just with activity? You don't know how they're going to play, you don't know who their star men are. I'm sure they've been scouted, but I think they could cause us problems. I see them being so up for this game, and I hope we come out with energy and enthusiasm, and we don't just think we're going to beat them easy, because if we slip to a 1-0 down, we don't know what these kids' reactions are like. I know it's only Astana, but you never know. This is a cup game for them. This is a huge deal.
And they're not kids. Astana won't be kids. They might not have the quality, but they're not kids. Charlie Roll says, "Are you happy?"
I know it's only Astana.
It's nearly 4-0 to Arsenal there. Charlie Roll says, "Are you happy that Matic is playing in this game, as it means that you won't be playing in the Premier League matches? Predictions on who will score." Well, I'll let you take that one, Paul, with regards to Matic. What are your thoughts on him? Captain as well. I mean, people might not realise that. I mean, that's the one that's got me. Why is he captain Manchester United? It makes no sense when you've got Phil Jones on the pitch. Romero could have done it. I'm just thinking of people that have been at the club longer than him. Phil Jones could have done it.
Yeah, I thought I'm confused by that, but I don't read into it too much. I mean, our captaincy's been all over the shop for years. We haven't really got anyone who's going to grab it by the horns. I think Maguire's a future captain. I think he's a leader. I think our two centre halves actually are the best vocal people on the pitch. But I put a live comment in earlier when I saw Matic in the lineup. Matic is the sugar in the petrol tank of a Ferrari. I mean, he just everything around Matic just seems to have pace and fluidity. And then you got Matic in the middle. Everybody's going to revolve around Matic, and he's going to control and dictate the pace of the game. If that's the case.
The thing is,
it just seems the weakest link, doesn't he? Goodbye.
I think I said it in the preview. Goodbye. I said it in the preview with Matic. He can literally probably walk out onto the pitch with a sleeping bag and a cup of Horlicks, because what is a CDM like him going to do in a game like this? It's going to be the easiest game he's ever had. You may as well give him the captaincy and also give him a golden pen to retire with, because it's like the easiest. He's a CDM in a game you don't need a CDM, and he's also a CDM that can't bloody attack. So really, from a tactical point of view, I wouldn't have played him, because two centre backs can do the CDM role because they ain't going to have anything to do. So a CDM's a waste of time. But the good positive thing, it means he's not playing on Sunday. So yeah, let him have a run around in his slippers. I'm not too bothered.
Yeah, I'll never forget something you said, Mark. The CDM position is the easiest position to look good in, but it's one of the most difficult positions to excel in. And Matic, he can look good in a game like this, a CDM, because he can pass the ball side to side, never lose it, even though he does. But to be that deep-lying playmaker, like Fernandinho's got it, he's got it absolutely nailed down. He's a niggly little dirtbag. Tactical fouls he puts through are perfect. He's always in the right position. But he breaks the lines. He breaks the lines with runs. And he breaks the lines with balls. And Matic doesn't do that. He's so stationary. McTominay, he has to learn that to be the sort of CDM, because he's not even a CDM. Let's face it, we always class him as a CDM. He's a number 10 mainly when he played in the youth setup. So he's learning a new role. He has to play forward, but you know, we need to find a deep line playmaker / CDM who can feed the ball through. Matic ain't that.
I'm just going to read a few super chats. Mr. Beast says 3 questions to the Ollie haters. Has he signed anyone crap? No. Has he sold anyone good? No. How many contracts have been given to first teamers? Come on, United. Just talking the positives there. Zayn Miasi's back. He says, Mark, Saka at Arsenal is showing you how it's done. Has he signed anyone crap? Well, you maybe should be watching Arsenal instead of getting on our super chats. And Michael Van Gerwen, well, they have actually just finished. It's 3-0. Michael Van Gerwen says, Matic being captain tonight just shows Ollie doesn't pick his captains off who's been there the longest, which is a good thing, to be honest. That's from Michael Van Gerwen. And Ying V. Famson says, Haaland is a Lukaku with a good touch. Might be right for us. Go Twan Sebi. And I just wanted to just bring in from what Paul was saying there. I don't know what a lot of people were thinking, but I was just thinking there that actually the only players that, if they play well tonight, come out with any credit are the young players. You know, if Mata and Lingard come off the bench and score a couple of goals each, or if Rashford scores a couple of goals, it'll be good for his confidence. But if Matic plays well, or Phil Jones or Rojo play well, I think it's one of those games, Paul, really, where because it's for the youth, we just don't know what to expect. So if they play well, it's brilliant. It's like that goal for Xhaka there for Arsenal. Brilliant. Well done, lad. But if you are a sort of a senior pro, you should be putting an 8 or 9 out of 10 in against a team like Astana. So, yeah, I'd be a little bit, if Matic plays well tonight, I wouldn't suddenly be going, oh yeah, he's back. It's Astana at the end of the day. They should be playing well. So, yeah, I'd be a little bit... Is he still there? If Matic plays well tonight, I wouldn't suddenly be going, oh yeah, he's back. It's Astana at the end. Hello. He'll probably pop back in a minute. Astana were only formed 10 years ago, says Stuart Dadge. Yeah, they're only 1 year younger than Man City. And Matic is a Siberian Husky. You don't want it, says Joe Corey. Should get Thomas Partey as a proper CDM, says Angry Man. Apparently, we could have got him because his release clause is £43 million, isn't it? You can talk to me. 50-1 for Arsenal to win the league in their best bet this year, says C Blacks. And I'll send Zayn my bank account details, says Martin. Matic should change to centre-back, says Joe Corey. God, he should just retire. I hope Fred scores, says Melly, 7777. Mark, Manchester United are monitoring German coach Thomas Tuchel's situation at PSG in case they decide to replace manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, says Tom Afri. I think that's absolutely nonsense. Paulie's still there?
Yeah, my Discord went down. Sorry, bro.
No worries. We all know Matic isn't great, but let's just respect him for what he can do, says Roger. Look, mate, nobody actually dislikes these footballers when they say it. It's football. You're talking about a footballer's ability. You're not talking about him as a bloody individual. And anyone who thinks that, football's not for you. Even Matic knows that. It's nothing personal. It's just for years and years, all through my life. Every game I've bloody been to, people get slated on the terraces. That's just what it is. Football's not for you. Even Matic knows that. It's nothing personal. Wish Garner was playing instead of Matic, says Peter Walsh. Maybe that, would you have played Garner, Paul, tonight? Or do you think that's probably one youth player too many?
No, you've got to have some sort of stability in there. Plus, you look at it this way: Ollie can't play everybody, even some of the more mature, experienced players in the Premier League every week. They need game time. You can't play him. You can't stick Matic for 30 minutes against Rochdale. He's going to get the ump. He got the ump the other day when he got subbed off because he was rubbish. You got to keep everybody on their toes. You've got to give experienced players time on the pitch as well as youth. You also have to think about the egos of some of these players. It's not as simple as just ripping Matic out dumping him on the bench for 5 games, playing Ghana and whoever else, because then it deflates Matic. There's a real balance you got to keep between all of these players. I mean, I understand certain decisions that Ollie makes, even if I don't agree with them, because I want to see certain things. Ollie realises he can't do them for behind the scenes reasons. So I understand certain decisions when I don't agree with them. I don't understand some of the decisions he makes, but that's more in game, and he seems to be working on that. So you need stability, you need experience. All youth will, if he plays all youth and we lose, what happens to Ollie? He gets blamed. So there's a balance to be kept, basically, and I think he's got the right balance today. I saw the team and I was like, absolutely perfect. I couldn't pick holes in it.
Just as well, Jordan Such says, if Greenwood scores a couple tonight, would that be enough to get him a start on Sunday, in your opinion? And I just don't see. I just don't see the negative. I don't think it is enough. I'll let you speak, actually, Paul, and I'll give you my thoughts.
I just don't think Ollie will do it. I would. I don't even know if Greenwood's going to start as striker tonight. That's what I was meant to mention. If he doesn't start as number 9 and he starts on the wing, that is unfair to Greenwood, because you say, well, he's on the wing, at least he's in the forward line. He plays as a striker. If you put Gomez as CDM, you can't say, well, he's in the midfield, so he should perform. Rashford was winger in his youth setup. He's learned to play striker. Gomez is Greenwood is a striker. So if he's not number 9 tonight, I think it's a bit unfair, and we'll have to limit that against his performance. Because I've watched YouTube clips and I've seen a couple of games with him. He's a very instinctive striker, and he runs through them down the middle. He runs onto balls when he plays 1-2s, and he gets in really good positions in front of the box. And I think that's his strength. So hopefully he plays as number 9. If he doesn't play as number 9, how's he even going to overtake Rashford as a striker? My biggest hate, that's not my biggest hate, one of my pet hates, playing people out of position. It's not fair. James on the left versus James on the right. It's still the wing, but on the left he looks 10 times better player because he's familiar with it. I don't know if you agree.
I just think that Rashford should play on the left because he's used to playing on the left. He's an experienced player, and Greenwood, like you say, he's a young player getting a start for Manchester United in a big game, and he deserves to be given an opportunity up front. We've got it with Greenwood up front, with Rashford on the left and Chong on the right. It could be Rashford up front with Greenwood on the right and Chong on the left. I just hope that there is some interchangeability there. But what I would say is, if Greenwood scores a couple of goals tonight, and Gomez has a fantastic game, and then they're not playing against West Ham, I'm relaxed. Because I think the worst scenario for us as fans is if he hadn't played them tonight, they don't play at the weekend, and you're just forever saying as a fan, when are they going to get a chance? When are they getting a chance? Well, they're getting a chance tonight, and if they play well tonight, and then they don't play against West Ham, and the lads who do play shit again, then we've got the evidence there, and that's what makes me happy about tonight, is that we actually have got these players playing games now for Manchester United. As long as they take the opportunity or show some promise, then you can only ignore them for so long. That's my feeling about it.
Yeah, again, I respect what Ollie's doing, because what have I been saying for such a long time, Mark? We don't even know our best 11. Now Ollie's trying to cement down the best 11 and see how it works. To do that, you can't change 3 or 4 players every other game, because then after 10 games of changing 2, 3 players, 1 player, 2 players, at the end of 10 games you're back to where you started, knowing absolutely nothing. So I kind of get what he's doing.
There's an element of patience there, isn't there? There's an element of patience, and I think at the first, before the international break, we played 4 games, but it was 1 game a week, and we were, when's it going to happen? But now we're playing so many games that we are getting to see these players, and I'm just to see Gomez, Chong, and Greenwood there walking out together into the tunnel, and this ain't a friendly. This isn't a reserves game. It's a Manchester United game. I think interested to see what the attendance is tonight as well, because realistically, I think any other club like Chelsea, Man City, the stadium's half full for a Thursday night game against Kazakhstan Premier League Premier champions. But United, I think it's going to be full tonight. Daniel Burton says, why is Oli massaging Matic's ego? He's lucky to be in the squad after his comments, let alone captain our team. Baffles me, doesn't set a good example. And Simon Helden says, hi Mark and Paul, according to One Football app, Greenwood is playing through the middle. They won't know any more than we know, but I hope that's right.
No,
I hope that's
right.
We're about
Did you
4 minutes
see
away.
Man City's following for his Champions League game? Sorry, Mike. Did you see the picture of Man City's fans at the Champions League away game?
Oh yeah, you could have given him a lift home on a bike, couldn't you?
Exactly. Get a camper van, mate, and you'll be sorted. That's all of them. It was ridiculous.
Exactly. What channel? The game in the USA? I've got no idea. It's on in BT Sports on the UK. It's actually on the telly for us tonight, which is great. I won't be surprised if United lose tonight, says Baba Academy. I must answer that. I must ask that question. There are quite a lot of empty seats actually at Old Trafford. It doesn't surprise me, especially in the way end. But look,
Yeah, me neither.
it's a Europa League game, isn't it? Is there any chance of an upset tonight? Realistically, I suppose there's always a chance, but there are quite a lot of empty seats.
There's always a chance, but no, there isn't really, is there? I mean, we can't get beat by Astana. I mean, what's that going to do to Oli? I mean, I can't even contemplate it. I can't even talk about the repercussions of it because I don't know how I'd feel about it. I'd just be in complete shock. I'd have to process it for an entire day, or I'd go on a rant. So yeah, we can't lose.
Well,
today.
the thing
We
is
just
as
can't.
well, you look at the
Flip that
team.
up.
You look at the team, and the team is what we want. So, unless it's because of a Phil Jones nightmare hat trick and we lose like 3-2, the scenario is we want to be patient with a lot of these players as well. So it's not like if we lose at the weekend with Mata and Lingard starting and Matic, it's like this is the team that we want to do way. I don't think there's a chance, a cat and house chance. So I must just finally ask you, Paul, what's your score prediction? I went 6-0. There's a lot of empty seats at Old Trafford actually. There is a lot. The whole tier up there.
That's just the sign of the times, Mark. Unfortunately, 5-0. Anyway, that's my prediction. 5-0. Greenwood brace. Chong will get one. God knows who else. I just hope. I'm really, really hoping there's some really good individual performances from the people coming in, but we'll knock them dead.
Right, Paul's going to join me again at half time. Thanks for popping on, Paul. Really appreciate that. And I'll see you at half time. Hopefully, we'll be halfway there. Hopefully we're 3 or 4-0 up by then.
Yes, mate, defo. I'll see you in a bit.
All right, mate. Right, Paul's going to join. Actually, must just say as well, the bench, you can have up to 11 subs, I think, on this, but we haven't named 11 subs. We've got Tony Grant, Ashley Young, Scott McTominay, Mata, Garner, Lingard, and somebody else I've forgotten. I mean, there's a lot of people in Old Trafford, but what I would say is, to be honest, it's Kazakhstan in the Europa League game on a Thursday night, and you can understand why it's not a sellout. Totally understand why it's not a sellout. Having said that, I think if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had released the team news yesterday, it would have sold it out. I think a lot of people would like to have been at this game tonight because it could be a historic night, and I think a lot of people haven't come to the game because of what the fixture is, and you don't know what the team's going to be. But actually, I think if everybody had known that Gomez, Chong, and Greenwood were going to start, I think there'd be a lot more people there. But I'm sure there's a lot of people watching like us at home. Thanks everybody who is. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, the United Stand. We're live every night at 8 o'clock. We've got fan cams after the game. Be a lot. I can't wait for the fan cams tonight. Hopefully, we'll be talking about a Greenwood hat trick, etc., etc.
Please do subscribe.
And we got previews. We got loads of stuff going on. So subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and we're up and running already. Quick start. Quick start. In fact, it's caught me on the op. And he ain't waiting around this ref. He's got a plane to catch.
So subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and we're up and running already. Quick start.
And there's the time news as well. Okay, come on you Reds, says young Red Devil Red. Right, let's sit back and watch Manchester United's youngsters. How are they going to get on? We are playing a 4-3-3. It's Fred. Well, it might not be a 4-3-3. It won't be a 4-3-3 really. It'll be more of a, a lot of players forward.
Gomez is sort of playing in that Pogba role of the three. We are playing a 4-3-3. It's Fred. Well, it might not. And he's on the ball now. We've got 3 players around him. A little bit of skill, a little bit of excitement from Gomez, but and he's giving the ball away with his first touch. You don't want to start like that, Angel. You don't want to start giving balls away. And he's on the ball now. 3 players around. But this is the thing. It's all about patience. Like, you know, you'd be an absolute fool if you were to say, "Oh, Angel Gomez is crap. He's giving the ball away." This is it. It's giving them the platform to express themselves. There's going to be with any young player. I'm old enough to remember and fortunate enough to remember when, you know, David Beckham was playing his first few games for United, and Scholesy and Butts, and you know, they didn't come in and just be world class players. You have to work at it. There's a ball on here. Delow into Greenwood, and he doesn't quite get away. It looks to me like Rashford's playing through the middle with Greenwood off the right and Chong off the left. Well, that is what's happening actually, which I think's a little bit wrong. I think that's a little bit wrong. I think that Greenwood should be playing down the middle with Rashford to the left. But it's all about Rashi, isn't it? It's all about Rashi. Which I think's a little bit wrong. I think that's a little bit wrong. I think that Greenwood should be playing down the middle with Rashford. Phil Jones, it's got the yellow boots. It's the yellow boots. It's the yellow boots, Marcus. He's got yellow boots on, Phil Jones. I thought he'd never wear a pair of coloured boots again after how he got hammered this time last year in pink. I thought he was going to always stay in black, and he's wearing yellow boots. Gomez, nice little interchange there. United moving the ball around nicely as well, which is nice to see. Fred shoots from distance, and it's the bar. He's hit the bar. He's hit the bar more harder than a drunk at last orders. He really did it that well there, Fred. And for everybody who likes Fred, he's done well there. Must be about 35 yards out. Smacks it. Looked a little bit speculative at first, but he's hit the bar, and it's gone out for a goal kick. But, United, first little opportunity there. Greenwood definitely playing off the right. He does have a poise of Van Persie. I don't really talk about that, but he does have a poise. I understand why people say he's like Van Persie, because the way he controls the ball and his body movements are exactly like that. Gomez has just brought a free kick on the edge of the box there. Be nice to get an early goal in this game. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner. Gomez has just brought a free kick on the edge of the box there. Yeah, it is a foul. He does get the ball, but he goes through the back of Gomez. Very clever play by Gomez to buy the foul there. Please do subscribe to the channel. And we're just going to see Fred's goal here. Fred's shot, actually. It's a good shot from where he is. He hits it very well. Would have been a cracker. Would have been a cracker. Anyway, free kick here. Bloody Rashford on it again. Fred's goal here. Fred's shot, actually. It's a good shot from where he is. Why, oh why, oh why is Rashford on bloody free kicks again? Score? You better bloody score. No. It actually was a better free kick, actually, because it's flicked off the top of the wall. But I don't know why Rashford takes free kicks. It's one of life's mysteries, isn't it? Score? You better bloody score. It really is. No. It actually was a better free kick, actually, because it's flicked off the top of the wall. But I don't know why Rashford takes free kicks. It's one of life's mysteries, isn't it? Score? You better bloody score. It really is. No. It actually was a better free kick, actually, because it's flicked off the top of the wall. But I don't know why Rashford takes free kicks. It's one of life's mysteries, isn't it? Okay, so an interesting game in store for us tonight, everybody. Will United be able to break this Astana team down? Rearguard action. Okay, so they've got their backs to the wall at the moment. You know what they need? A bit of loop. For us tonight, everybody. Will United be able to break this Astana? I think Rashford will enjoy the game tonight, though, because he's got 3 youngsters right behind him, and as a youth prospect himself who came through the youth setup, it's sort of like it's leadership, isn't it? And I think that some people embrace. I think Rashford will enjoy the game tonight, though, because he's got 3 youngsters right behind him, and as a youth prospect himself who came through the youth setup, it's sort of like it's leadership, isn't it? And I think that some people embrace. I think Rashford will enjoy the game tonight, though, because he's got 3 youngsters right behind him, and as a youth prospect himself who came through the youth setup, it's sort of like it's leadership, isn't it? And I think that some people embrace. I think Rashford will enjoy the game tonight, though, because he's got 3 youngsters right behind him, and as a youth prospect himself who came through the youth setup. Sort of like it's leadership, isn't it? And I think that all, you know, some people embrace. I think Rashford will enjoy the game tonight though, because he's got 3 youngsters right behind him, and as a youth prospect himself who came through the youth setup, sort of like it's leadership, isn't it? And I think that all, you know, some people embrace. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference reaction for Manchester United versus FC Astana, and he's talked the talk. I think he's going to walk the walk. I think he's going to walk the walk with the youth. Really, really positive vibes from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Some definitive news that Mason Greenwood will start. Remember, I said this on the preview last night. I'm 100% sure that Mason Greenwood will start. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed it, so that's nice to be right on that. Tuanzebe will start as well, and Romero will start in goal. So we've got 3 right from last night straight away. But he spoke about the youth. He said that this is their opportunity. Some of them were very, very close to starting the season after a good tour, and this will be their chance to come into the team. So very, very, very pleased with that. A little bit of injury news before we go into that, into a little bit more news, but got to be a positive that we're going to see those youth players, and how many we'll talk about in a minute. But there is some injury news. Dan James will not play. Daniel James will not play. That's a good and a bad thing. That's a good and a bad thing. He shouldn't have been playing tomorrow anyway. Obviously the bad thing is he can't play because he's got an injury, and does that put him out of the West Ham game? I don't know, but what it means is with Greenwood starting, pretty much we'll probably see Rashford and Lingard in the front 3 with him. He could play Mata. I hopefully would expect him to see Chong. Of more concern, looking forward to that West Ham game, no Martial training today, no Luke Shaw. Well, Luke Shaw and Pogba did a little bit of light work, so the only 2 players who are back are Dalot and Lingard. Now, Dalot being back is a positive. I would really like to see Dalot playing tomorrow, because it means that we don't have to play Wan-Bissaka. You could play Rojo at left back, Wan-Bissaka would have a rest, and you could play Dalot at right back. That would be a big, big positive. We'll have to wait and see. Mark, where is your Borat costume, says Amy Assey? I'd imagine that's a little bit offensive for us all to dress up as Borat, to be honest with you. But talking about the Daniel James knock, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said he can't play. But I saw a few people on social media saying, oh, straight away, this is the board's fault again. There's not been any signings in the summer. We didn't replace Lukaku or Sanchez. Dan James is injured. Martial is injured. Pogba is injured. We haven't got enough midfielders, and we haven't got enough attackers. I agree. But in relation to the Europa League tie tomorrow night, it's not relevant. It's not relevant that's more of a Premier League issue. In the Europa League, in some ways, it forces him to play players that we want to play. This is where the youth have to step up. So I'm excited. I hope there's going to be some more. I really hope there's going to be some more. But Tuanzebe starts. Greenwood starts. Let's hope we can get a start for Gomez. Maybe even Chong as well. I really hope he does go down that route, because he spoke about the youth a lot. He spoke about them a lot. He said that there'll be some youth playing tomorrow, definitely. And obviously with Axel Tuanzebe starting, he said now is their chance. So very, very, very much talking the talk about the youth again, and a few questions directed about him, talking about Jose Mourinho. When he won the Europa League, he went with quite an experienced side, as did Jose in the Carabao Cup a lot of the time as well, because he wanted to win trophies. Ollie was asked that, are you going to go with youth? And he said, look, it will change week to week in the Europa League, because sometimes I might have to play the experienced players to give them game time. It changes for the players and it changes for the coach. But the talk is about the youth, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't do anything to distinguish that. So extinguish that. Sorry. So I hope we're going to see more than Tuanzebe and Greenwood starting, because it's the perfect game. It's the perfect game for them. Welcome to Sean P, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Just a very, very quick shout out as well. The link's in the video description. We're getting closer, just a month away now, to an evening with Ryan Giggs with the United Stand on October the 25th. Tickets still available. Get on the link in the video description. We're going to be on stage with the legend Ryan Giggs, asking him questions. You can be there, meeting, greeting, everything. So links in the video description for that. Get your tickets while you can. Greenwood will score, says Noel Francisco. Look, he spoke a lot about Mason Greenwood a lot. A very good question was put to him about Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood starts tomorrow, starts against Rochdale probably. are you going to start him in Premier League games? And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said, look, he's young. We don't want to put too much pressure on him. He's a young striker. He is still only 17. And I thought Ole Gunnar Solskjaer answered that well. Because I think we've all got this demand that these young players play in the Premier League because we believe in them and we want them to play. We believe they're better than some of these deadwood players that are still getting picked week in, week out. But they've got to take the opportunities first. And I think tomorrow night and Rochdale next Wednesday, they really are the stepping stone for them to show they're ready. I mean, you know what? Let's be honest as football fans. We go on about this youth saying they're good enough. Does anybody actually know 100% they're good enough? I mean, Mason Greenwood's an amazing talent, but actually, in the games that he has played, i.e. Cardiff at the end of last season, he missed a hatful of chances. Now, nobody moaned about it because he's a young player and that's what it's all about. We're excited by him. But there will become a point where he's got to deliver, and we don't 100% know whether any of them are going to deliver. We all hope we all believe in them, so that's why tomorrow night and Rochdale are really, really important. Young Khan says, Viva Ronaldo, running down the wing, hear United sing. And we've also had a contribution from Jordan Such. He says, how's about he starts the youth in the Premier League, not against some blind team in the BTEC European competition? What odds Rashford, Lingard and Mata will start on Sunday? Lampard seems alright with starting the youth in the Premier League. I don't disagree with that comment, Jordan. I've got to be honest, I don't disagree with that comment. What I would say is, we've got a game tomorrow. Let's go into that game. Let's see what happens with that. Because I agree. I think some of these lads should have played in the Premier League already, but they haven't. We haven't got a Premier League game tomorrow night. We've got the Europa League tomorrow night. Hopefully they'll play in that, and if they play well, then it's more pressure for them to play them in the Premier League. But I don't disagree with you. I think they should have been played by now. How are you on this fine Wednesday afternoon, Mark? Says Ryan Mickelson. It is a fine Wednesday afternoon in the UK. It's beautiful, isn't it? And I'm very, very happy. I'm very happy. Positivity, people. Smash a like on the video. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. I would say that's his best one of the year so far, of the season so far, because positivity, firm confirmation that Twansebi and Greenwood will start, firm confirmation that youth will play, and firm confirmation that this is the way he wants to build out. He spoke about what was the lad's name who played Charlie Willens. Charlie Willens trained with the first team today. He was asked a very, very straightforward question: has he got any chance of being involved tomorrow? And he didn't say no, but he did really. But what he did say is, look, this is what we do at this football club. He'll be, Charlie will be made up with the fact that he's trained with the first team today, and we like to just bring a young player into the first team setup every now and again, let them train with the first team, give them a taste of it, then send them back to the youth setup. And that's what it's all about. And there was a lot of talk of that in the press conference about this is what Manchester United do. We bring the youth in, we play the youth. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer himself, we have questioned him on this channel, quite rightly. You have questioned him. A lot of people have questioned him, saying he talks the talk, but does he really walk the walk on the youth? Well, he was talking the talk again. He was saying, this is what I do everywhere I've been. Cardiff, Mulder, now Manchester United. I go with the youth, I trust the youth. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt there, because you do talk about it a lot, and we're not at that stage yet where you're talking about it and not using it. But tomorrow night's a big thing. And it's got to be more than Greenwood and Twansebi, I must admit. Twansebi's been on loan at Villa. He's the third choice centre-back. We'll talk about him in a minute. I'd expect him to start. Greenwood could be a once-in-a-lifetime talent. You'd expect him to start. Let's see what he does with the Gomez and the Garner and the Chong. Let's see what he does with those tomorrow night. Zayn Mayasi says, Mark, you had to play your strongest team as it's only way for you to get into the Champions League, just like Arsenal. We will not be playing our strongest team, Zayn, and that has already been confirmed. With regards to Axel Twansebi, I would just say this. He spoke very, very glowingly about how he's going to be a centre-back. He came on as a midfielder for the last few minutes against Leicester. He wants to play centre-back, but he'll do anywhere there's a job that's required him. And I don't think enough. I put my hand up and say, look, I got this wrong. We all get things wrong, but and it's good to accept it. I felt that Axel Twansebi needed to go on loan to a Premier League club this season, because I never saw him playing enough games, and first team training ain't good enough. He played well over 30 games for Villa last season, and it did him the world of good in the Championship. And he said that in the press conference. I'm talking about Twansebi because he was sat next to Ollie in the press conference today, because in the European ones they always do that. And he's chosen to stay at the club. And he was asked about that, and he said, I could see the vision. Having spoken to the club, I could see my vision and my pathway, so the decision was right to stay at this football club. And the reality is, he is the third choice centre-back. We've seen it because he's been on the bench when Jones and Smalling's obviously gone and Rojo haven't. He's come on off the bench at the weekend when Jones could have come on. Axel Tuanzebe is Manchester United's third choice centre-back. And actually, if somebody said that to me in the summer, I would have said, don't put him on loan. I could see him being behind Jones and Smalling and hardly playing at all. As the backup centre-back, he's totally right to stay at Manchester United. Yeah, he might not play as many games, but he will play games, and he's going to play games. He's going to be playing probably 2 or 3 games a month until Christmas, just because of the Europa League and the Carabao Cup. So, look, really, really, really excited, and he comes across as a really domineering personality as well. To be honest with you, I was listening to Ollie, and then they suddenly spoke to Axel, and his voice is booming. It was like, wow, you take up and take notice. And as a centre-back and a big lad, I hope and I really believe he's got a good future at Manchester United. Again, baby steps, let's see what he can do. You've always got to give that youth a sort of buffer of mistakes, really, because you're going to get that as part of any growth. But I spoke about it before, didn't I? We spoke about this on the podcast about Lindelof versus Tuanzebe. Make sure you listen to the podcast, actually. Really good this week. Links are in the video description for that. But we were talking about Tuanzebe versus Lindelof, and I'm like, Lindelof and Maguire for now. But if Tuanzebe is going to take Lindelof's place, I want him to take it because he plays so brilliantly well in the Europa League and the Carabao Cup, and then he pushes him out. Ollie did play young players for Mulder. Haaland was one of them, says Max Up. Well, Haaland scored how many goals last night for Salzburg? Was it 3? Was it 4? He was mentioned to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in a question in the press conference about Haaland, and Ollie was just very, dismissive in many ways. Not in a nasty way. He was just like, very, very pleased for him, but my focus is Manchester United. So obviously doesn't want to be talking about signing a player like that at the moment. And why would we need a player like him at the moment? Ollie is going with Greenwood, Martial and Rashford. Zayn Mayasi says, Mark, why don't you have an evening with Ronaldo? I got a shirt signed from him. He's a legend. Yeah, I'll just ring Ronaldo up and say, do you fancy doing an evening with Mark Goldbridge and the United stand? We'll do it down the local pub in Birmingham. Mark, don't you think we should put the regulars on so they will get more confidence and use it in the league, says Toma Trabelsi? No. I mean, look, that's your opinion. That is your opinion if you want to do that. But I don't want to see that happening. I want to see Manchester United playing the youth so that the youth can start to get involved in the team. He said that Fred will be involved. And I didn't really pick up that Fred will start tomorrow, and that might be a positive because I think Fred actually should be starting against West Ham. I think Fred starting against Astana would be a big indication that he won't start against West Ham. But Ollie said he'll be involved, so whether he'll be on the bench or not, I don't know. Maybe give him half a game or something like that. Obviously, Romero starts in goal. I don't know what you lot think about Romero starting in goal. I understand it. Romero is a very good backup goalkeeper and he needs game time. But I suppose my only issue with it is, if you're only going to play De Gea in the Premier League, he's only going to play 38 games a season. And if Romero's going to be the cup goalkeeper, he could play well over 15. So he could play up to 20. So it's just like, if Romero's the Europa League goalkeeper, is De Gea the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup goalkeeper? I don't know. And I think in the latter stages, you should play your best goalkeeper. But that's a problem for the future. And I know a lot of people like Romero, but my opinion is, if we get deep into the Europa League, and that's going to be a route into the Champions League, you should play your best goalkeeper. It's like having a drive in a Ferrari or having a drive in a Vauxhall Astra. Steph Chadwick says, what do you think of Callum Wilson in January, Mark? I can see it and think we could blood Greenwood on the right wing. I would wait for a centre midfield next summer. Steph, I wouldn't go near Callum Wilson. Bournemouth are already quoting 70 million for him. I mean, they're having a bloody laugh. He's 27. No thanks. Going back to the Europa League, though, very interesting thing that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said. He said the home games are going to be very important because we've got 2 away games that will be played on AstroTurf. Presumably, and not conclusively, those games will be Astana and the Belgrade game. But I hadn't realised that we were playing on AstroTurf for those games, which can be problematic. Of course they can. And also we had a little bit of a chat about the fact that look, we're on Wednesday. We've got a game on, just for a moment, let me just talk about the injuries. We're playing on Wednesday. We're playing on Thursday. Obviously no Pogba, Martial or Shaw in that one. None of those train today. They may train tomorrow. I'm a little bit worried about that West Ham game. With all due respect, Astana, we're going to win that game. We're going to win that game, and it's exciting because we're going to see the youth. But that West Ham game, that's your bread and butter. That's your bread and butter. And Manchester United have got to win that game as well. And we're going to struggle to win that game with the team that played against Leicester because it's not good enough. So we need Martial back. And Martial's injury he's not even doing any light work yet. So I don't think Martial's back against West Ham, which means he's missed 3 of our first 6 games. So he's missed 50% of our games if he doesn't play on Sunday. And that is becoming a problem. You need Martial playing. Pogba, I think Pogba will play on Sunday. He's doing a little bit of light work. I think he will play. But these injuries, will Dan James be back? Dan James, for everyone joining us a bit late, is out of the Astana game with injury. He's got a knock. It's only Wednesday. He could be over a knock by Sunday. But we need these players back playing. And injury problems, they just won't go away from Manchester United. Trust in youth, I say, says Daniel Brinley. P.S. Zane is a closet United fan with how much he spends on Super Chats. Yeah, I think you're right about that. We must play Romero, says Marky. And Mark, what about Diego Costa? Says Zane Marassi. What about him? He's got nothing to do with my football club. I agree with everyone wanting Greenwood to go up front but not the wing, says Osman. That's a very good point. Greenwood starts tomorrow. I think he's got to play straight down the middle. Straight down the middle. And if I don't know whether I can do this. I'm going to cover myself up here. If this works. There you go. Yay, look, I've covered myself up. So that there, can we move it across? No. Can we move it across? And if I don't know whether I can do this, I'm going to cover myself up here. If this works. There you go. So that team there, it's very Jordan go mad. But that team there is the team I went with last night on the preview. So Romero in goal, Jones and Twansebi, Wan-Bissaka, Matic, Rojo, Gomez, Fred, Lingard, Greenwood, and Chong. Well, we know Greenwood's starting, we know Twansebi's starting, and we know Romero's starting. If Delo is fit, don't play Wan-Bissaka, play Delo there. I'd stick with that same back 4. Play Matic because I don't want to play him on Sunday. Yes, Fred can start, or he could start Pereira maybe. Maybe start Pereira because Pereira's not going to play against West Ham, I don't think, and Fred should. Gomez should start, Chong should start, and Lingard can start. And I'll be very happy with that team. So we definitely know, confirmed, that Romero, Greenwood, and Twansebi will start. And I tell you what, I'll mock the Europa League, right? Because I can't be a flip-flop. And Ollie was asked a very good question about, with all due respect, you're playing Astana, you're playing in Holland, you're playing in Belgrade. But, tonight it's PSG versus Real Madrid. Last night there was some cracking games. Do you want to use this? Do you want to? What they basically said, do you want to glamorise this tournament, or do you want to sort of make your players be hungry to play in the Champions League? And Ollie answered it very well. He said, look, I don't need to necessarily do that. The lads will have watched the Champions League last night, like anybody does from any division, and that's your aspiration and that's your dream. You're aware when your rivals are winning trophies, and you want to be doing that. So, good answer by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I will mock the Europa League. It's the Emmerdale Cup. It's Thursday night football. It's not great. It's not great. I'd rather have it than nothing. I'd rather have this than be Leicester, who are playing 1 game a week. I want European football, and if you can't have Champions League, I'm very grateful that the Europa League is there. But it ain't the Champions League, and it's hard. It's hard as a United fan to not be in the Champions League, and it should be hard. We should feel ashamed and embarrassed and upset about it. Of course we should. But the ideal scenario is starting to fall into place. If we've got to play in this tournament, and it can be a good tournament, it's still European competition. If we're going to play in this tournament, excite us. Give us something to want to watch. And tomorrow night, we watch it anyway, but we have got that something to watch. We have got Mason Greenwood starting. We have got Axel Twansebi starting. We have got, hopefully, either a Gomez or a Chong or maybe a Garner playing as well. And that makes it very, very exciting. And that's going to make Thursday nights exciting because the Premier League will take care of itself. But if in these cup competitions we're going to get some of these youngsters playing, it's going to make it maybe even more exciting than some of the Premier League games, to be honest with you. Brandon B says, I think the Europa League and the Carabao Cup is a blessing in disguise this season. This gives Ollie a chance to use the youth and rotate the squad. He did mention that the full squad will be rotated after the first international break. Brandon, you know what? I remember the days under Sir Alex, and you'd play Carabao Cup or the League Cup or whatever it was called. You'd play Champions League and you'd play the League. And this period could get a little bit, not boring, but a little bit repetitive because beyond the first team, your team's not that great, not that interesting. So you're watching the Europa League or the League Cup, and you'd be seeing people like Mata and Matic and Jones. Whereas now, because we've shredded some of that dead wood, we've got rid of Valencia, we've got rid of Darmian, we've got rid of Lukaku, we've got rid of Sanchez and Fellaini. We've now got the next line. A lot of it is the youth, and that does make it very exciting. So, look, if that's what we're going to do, that's what we're going to do. No way says AZ Alkmaar are too good. We'll be playing them in a few weeks. We'll need to be we'll be playing them soon. Daniel says Angel Gomez needs to play the most. Look, if I was to say to you in the live comments, we know Greenwood's starting, but which youth player do you really want to see starting tomorrow? And for me, it would be Angel Gomez. I would be excited. I'm one of the people who likes Tahith Chong, by the way. I know there's a lot of people out there who aren't convinced by him. I really do like Chong. But I would also say that we are in a situation whereby, I'd like to see Garner as well. But I think Gomez is the player. Gomez almost isn't a youth player anymore, even though he is, because Gomez is a player that we've known about for a long time. We believe he's an amazing talent. We know he's a little bit small, and there is a little bit of a prejudice towards smaller players in football in general, which is wrong. It doesn't matter how small you are. The best player in the world is small. Eden Hazard's small. It doesn't matter if you're small. Play him. And I don't think Ollie's not playing him because he's small, by the way, but he is the player that we want to see play. And as I said before, Angel Gomez could play the next 10 games and be bang average, but at least as fans you go, yeah, he's just another Lingard. He's not actually going to be that good. I think we all know that's not the case, and I think it's about time we started seeing him play. And I'm not too sure. Mourinho sort of ignored him. Ollie's not really played him in a big game yet. Tomorrow night's a big opportunity to do it, and I, for one, hope that he does. Okay, and Zayn Miasi says, Mark, will you do Glazers? Will you go on in Glazers' private jet with them to watch United play? Zane, I think you're a bit weird today. You're very, very weird. Mark, I see Twansibi plays in midfield. Would the crisis we have there, says Stephen Addy. Twansibi will be playing as a centre-back tomorrow. 100%. 100%. Loads of people watching this lunchtime, so please do smash a like on the video. We'll just take some of your questions as well. I think Champions League is a necessity for us next season, says Freddie Mercury. Hey, if you want to sign Jadon Sancho, you've got to get Champions League football. I think if United get Champions League football, they'll get Jadon Sancho next summer. I think he'll be the big United signing next summer. You've got to get Champions League football, and at this point, it's not definite. The biggest game we've got this week in relation to Champions League football is West Ham on Sunday, and that's why we need Pogba and Martial back. Jordan Such says, come March, if United are out of a top 4 race, would Ollie still play the youth in Europa, in your opinion, Mark? Jordan, the interesting thing is, if we're out of the top 4 race in March, but we're still in the Europa League, I wouldn't be opposed to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer putting his strongest team out in the Europa League, whatever that strongest team is, because by then, it could be Gomez, it could be Greenwood. But let's say it's not. Let's say it's Martial and Rashford and Lingard and Pogba and McTominay and Pereira or whoever. I don't mind that team playing in the Europa League to give us the best chance of winning the Europa League. But what you can't do is play that team on a Thursday and playing it on a Sunday. So what he'd have to do then on the Sunday in the Premier League is play Greenwood and Gomez and everyone. So that's the great positive we have now. The squad is big, but it's made up of youth. And if you play a strong team on a Thursday, you've got to play the other lot on the Sunday. So it could flip itself around, but as long as the youth are getting games, and they're not meaningless games in the bloody under-23s, then we benefit either way. So good point, but I don't think it will matter too much. And we might have to do that. I mean, United should get to the final of the Europa League. Obviously, we don't know who's going to drop down, but I think the strongest team that's going to drop down is either Inter, Dortmund or Barcelona, because they're all in the same group. When you look at all the other Champions League groups, unless there's a real shock of one of the big teams dropping out, most of the teams that are going to come down, you'd expect United to beat them. So United should be looking to get to the final. And I would imagine Arsenal would be looking at that the same. Metal Music Reviews, Gomez on age alone should be a fringe bench player. There's got to be some reason why he isn't getting the time. Let's see what happens tomorrow. We're getting closer to 1,000 likes, everybody. Please do smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. Just a little bit of a heads up as well, just so I remember. There's no live 8 o'clock show tonight, so your only live Goldbridge input today is going to be me now. There is a video going up at 7 o'clock. It's Blood Brothers episode 3 for the United Stand FC game. That will be going up tonight. But if you want to join me live, I will be live on That's Football at 8 o'clock. I'm watching PSG versus Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid versus Juventus. Last night I did Liverpool and Napoli and Dortmund and Barcelona. So if you're watching Champions League football tonight, you want to join me for a watch along, you can join me on That's Football. Mark Goldbridge, That's Football at 8 o'clock. Obviously tomorrow we'll be live on here with a watch along for the United Stand for the FC Astana versus Manchester United game. Mark, you should have sold Dyer and used that to buy Bruno Fernandes and Jadon Sancho. So Zane Miassi. Yeah. Zane, you're getting worse. You're actually getting worse. Chelsea could drop down into the Europa League, says Chichochu. I don't think they will. I don't think they will. Dortmund were good last side, says Mr. K. Yeah. And look, thanks everybody for watching. Please do smash a like, and I will see you tonight at 8 o'clock on That's Football Live if you're going to join me for the watch-alongs on the Champions League. But final word, listen to the podcast, links in the video description. Really good podcast with me and Flex yesterday. Exclusive content on there that we don't mention on YouTube. An hour long, so you can listen to it when you're at school or at work. And also, links in the video description. I don't know how many people know about this, but next month we've got an evening with Ryan Giggs on the United Stand. It's our next get-together. We did London a couple of months ago on Transfer Deadline Day. We're doing Ryan Giggs, not literally, that would be horrible. We've got an interview with Ryan Giggs on stage on October the 25th. The link is in the video description. It's an evening with the United Stand and Ryan Giggs. Get your tickets, link in the video description. It's going to be brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You can get pictures and autographs with me and maybe Ryan Giggs if you want. But yeah, link in the video description for that. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you all soon. Get your tickets, link in the video description. It's going to be brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You can get pictures and autographs with me and maybe Ryan Giggs if you want. But yeah, link in the video description for that. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you all soon. Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. I don't know why I've got the earpiece in. Sorry I'm late if we're watching live. It's been a right pain today. Friday the 13th probably is about right. But David De Gea will sign or has signed a new contract with Manchester United. This is the breaking news that we have for you. And it's very interesting news because it's coming from Duncan Castles. And if you remember Duncan Castles, he was always Jose Mourinho's mouthpiece really, and since Mourinho's left it's a little bit, well, is he right, is he not right? He jumps very early. He would definitely not win a 100 metres race because he runs and jumps too early, and he did it with Wan-Bissaka and he did it with Harry Maguire way too early. But he's ultimately does tend to be quite right, and what he's saying is that Manchester United have caved in. They've given David De Gea the contract that he wants, and he will be signing a 4-year contract with the option of a further year. And I will go back to what I've been saying. You know, there's been stories coming out for the last 2 weeks that Manchester United would be maybe losing David De Gea. Manchester United have left it too late, and I think in some ways they have. But if David De Gea signs this contract at Manchester United, then I think he's doing it because he loves the club. Because to be honest with you, as I said this morning on the press conference with Ollie, the point remains that look at Manchester United. I mean, we're going to look at that team on the left in a minute. We've obviously got the weekend to come. I don't think that the board have done anywhere near enough for a new manager. But keeping David De Gea, and David De Gea actually staying, it's not about keeping David De Gea. David De Gea could easily decide to stay and walk away. In January, he could talk to any club in Europe. And next summer he can go anywhere he wants and earn a lot of money. So to stay at Manchester United and to sign a long-term contract, to me, shows the passion and attachment he has to this club. And remember the fax machine, and remember the fact that he wanted to go back to Madrid, and here he is still in Manchester about to sign a massive contract. So look, it's a much-needed boost. It is a much-needed boost for Manchester United. When they'll officially announce it, maybe they'll do it over the weekend, maybe they'll do it early next week. But if Duncan Castles is coming out and saying, look, it's about to be signed, to be honest with you, I've been on that page for, I don't know how long I've been on that page. I think I've been saying it for a good 6, 7, 8 weeks now, that De Gea will stay. So I've always felt that he would. I've always been told that he would. Of course, there's always a problem that he might leave, but to be honest with you, I mean, this is a boost for Manchester United, and it is a much-needed boost. Is it reliable, says Big Z? I think he is. I think Duncan Castles is reliable. He tends to be jump a little bit too early, but I don't think he'd get something like that. He's not the sort of person I think is going to blatantly put something like that out on a Friday night and then be proved wrong. I think this is information that he's received. And to be honest with you, that is a lot of the rumours coming out of Manchester United for a long time now, that is that De Gea would stay. I think the only concern is, until it's official, people are thinking, well, look, the more bad results we have, the more he might just say, I'm not going to sign it. But look, De Gea, Manchester United, keeping him is a big boost for us. Mark, De Gea loves money, no players love the club, says Zane Miassi. Well, if you loved money, Zane, you've just made yourself look a prime idiot there. I mean, you have good nights and bad nights, and tonight, Zane, you've won the Idiot of the Night award, haven't you? De Gea loves money, not clubs. If he loves money, the best option is to wait until January, when nobody's got to pay you £80 million because that's what you're worth, and you get all that money in your pocket. So if De Gea really loved money, he wouldn't sign the contract, because he'd make a lot more money next summer going as a free agent to wherever he wants to go. Dave is staying, he loves us, he wants a statue, says Muffy. Well, look, De Gea staying at Manchester United is a big positive, but that's not what I was going to talk tonight about. I think it's great that De Gea is going to stay. It's what I expected. I know some of you were a bit negative about it. Let's wait for the official announcement, but yeah, it's definitely going to come. Do you think De Gea will start playing better, says Daniel Evans? I think, look, it's not easy. It's not so easy just to switch a switch, is it? We want De Gea to play well. I thought he started the season quite well. The captain's armband needs to be on him. Don't know why it went to Ashley Young last week, because he's the bloody club captain. He's crap. Give the captaincy to David De Gea. Give it to somebody who deserves it. Ashley Young doesn't deserve the captaincy. He's not been that good a player for us. He's certainly not been a good player for a long time, and he's not going to be here for a long time. So give De Gea the captaincy, and I think it focuses his mind more. So, but yeah, we do need De Gea back to his best, and I certainly don't want what I never wanted with De Gea was De Gea goes and we get fed the crap that I can see people are talking in the live comments. We could have got Oblak. Oh yeah, like we could have got Fernandez or Ericsson or Longstaff or any other midfielder in the summer to replace Herrera. You need to learn, people. You need to learn that if we lose a good player, we're probably not going to replace them, because that's what we do. So don't even come at me with, oh, I'd rather we got Oblak, because you got no chance. You might get Oblak's mum, but we ain't getting Oblak. So De Gea staying's a big positive for me. Sean Atwood, it's Friday, bottoms up, and let's kick the crap out of some Foxers. That is the nickname of Leicester City, Foxers. He's not going to go out and start kicking them rat things that run around and kill chickens. I think they are descendants of vermin, actually, Foxers. But look, fox hunting's illegal, apart from tomorrow, because they're called the Foxers. We're in the red. It's a legal form of fox hunting, and we need to go and get a win. And as we move away from David De Gea, because that's sort of breaking news in the last few minutes, so please do smash a like on the video if you're happy that De Gea is staying. Come on, show Dave the love. Let's get 1,000 likes on this video straight away. In fact, I should have said that earlier. We always say that when we get a signing or a new contract. Dave stays. Come on, smash a like on the video and show your love for David, because he's showing love for us. He could be walking away. He's going to sign a new contract. But how am I feeling tonight? Because this was meant to be Friday night on the United Stand. Is meant to be laid back Friday night. Let's have a drink. Let's have a chat. And I tell you what a crap day we had. You know what? I want to throw this to you, because Russ emailed me about this, and I think he's spot on. He said, why is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in his press conference just gone and confirmed everybody's out? Is that naivety again from a naive manager? Because what he should have said is, and I agree with Russ, what he should have said is this morning, we've got a lot of injury concerns, but we'll see how everybody is tomorrow. That means that Brendan Rodgers then doesn't really know whether Pogba's going to play, whether Martial's going to play. He knows now, so the confidence of everybody, the last thing you want is a team to come to Old Trafford confident and ready to express themselves. Leicester City will be pumped tonight. They'll be ready. They'll be knowing they can go to Old Trafford and win, which they very rarely do, and put 6 points between us and them. And I think Russ was right. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should have stayed quiet about some of those injuries. I mean, he's basically, it's almost the white flag thing again, isn't it? It's like, I've got all these injuries, putting an excuse up early. But actually, I was about backs to the wall, let's have a scrap here, because I would not have said that Pogba was injured. I would have said, look, we're carrying a lot of knocks, we'll see how everybody is. And when they'd have said specific players, I would have gone, look, we'll see how everybody is. Keep that level of uncertainty there. But is that a level of naivety from the manager? Or am I wrong? Am I fair? Do you think he should be honest about who's in and who's out? I don't think he should have done. One, it makes us less depressed. And we don't have to, at least if we find out at 2 o'clock tomorrow they're not playing, we've only got an hour to panic, whereas we've got all night and everything to panic now. People are saying De Gea is 30 soon, like it is a bad thing. Van der Sar joined United at 34. People need to show De Gea some more respect. That's from T20G. Look, if you think a goalkeeper's old at 30, where have you been? Go and do your research. 30 for a goalkeeper is like 24 for a normal player. It's not even your prime years. Like, 30s are where you come into your primes. So no, it's not a problem at all. But talking about the game tomorrow, how is everybody feeling? Because I'm feeling somewhat. I still feel confident. I'm not like, oh yeah, we're going to smash Leicester, because that's going to end up as a meme. I'm going to look stupid. But I still feel we'll get something tomorrow. Now that something could be a draw. It could be a scrappy win. I don't think we're going to... I can't see us being comfortable tomorrow. I just can't. I think Leicester are too good and we're too weak. But we are at Old Trafford. We do need a response. And I just feel we'll get something. Maybe the defence will stand up and Leicester won't score. And we'll get a point. Or maybe we'll nick a win. But I do feel we're going to get something tomorrow. And maybe that is absolutely stupid. But I do think we're going to get something tomorrow. But I think the most important thing is, as the Batman channel says, Buffon is 41 and still playing very, very well. The most important thing tomorrow that we need to look for from this team, and I may as well talk about this big thing next to me. Hello, how are you doing? How are you doing tonight? Yes, you're not going to talk back to me, are you? That is how a lot of people on social media are predicting Manchester United are going to line up. When I look at it, yeah, we know Young's going to play at left back. That's a weak spot. Ollie almost hinted that Matic and Mata will start, so I've put them into the positions you would expect them to play. If they're going to start, you want them to play in the positions that they're best at, but Mata's best is a number 10 and Matic is a left-sided CDM, so you'd expect McTominay to play with them. Dan James you would expect to play on the left because Rashford's going to play through the middle with no Martial, which means Lingard plays on the right. I would love to see Gomez or Chong or Greenwood start tomorrow. I don't know why I'm doing that, but I would love it. I would bloody love it, people. I love it. I would love it, but I don't expect it. I don't actually think all three of them will even make the bench. I think Greenwood will be on the bench, maybe Chong. I'm not convinced Gomez is going to make the bench. So if that's how Manchester United are going to line up tomorrow, Avik says that no Lingard confirmed. I haven't heard that myself. And if he isn't, I actually would say that's a positive. If Lingard's out of that team, I think we're stronger for whoever comes in, whether it's Chong or Greenwood. I would be excited by that. But he could then bring Pereira in. And if Wan-Bissaka doesn't play, he'll switch Young across and we'll have Rojo at left back. So, I just think at some point he's got to make that leap of faith with the youth, hasn't he? But if that is our team tomorrow, what are your feelings about it? Just give me some comments for a moment. If any, do you expect any transfers in January, says Luke99. Well, I will. I don't like talking about January transfers. Everybody knows I don't really want to talk about it, but I will talk about an article by Robbie Savage actually in a minute before we take some of your comments, which sort of feeds into transfers, so we can sort of answer that for you. Gomez and Chong will be in the squad. They aren't in the under-23, says Zephyr Gaming. Oh, I know that. They're definitely going to be in the squad, but just because you're in the squad doesn't mean you make the bench. Gomez, yeah, we know that. There's no Lingard or Wan-Bissaka, says Aliou. Where's this coming from about Lingard being out then? Because I haven't read that. Michael Ames says that De Gea, Sergio Romero and Lee Grant, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof, Rashford, Dan James. Where's this coming from about Lingard being out then? Because I haven't read that. I'm not too sure about that. Mark, when Keane was still at United, I got his autograph when he was having dinner with his family. He gave me the ultimate Death Star. You need his mentality back at the club. Yeah, we do need someone like that. It's on Twitter. Mark, when Keane was still at United, I got his autograph when he was having dinner. Shocking team. I wouldn't be able to sleep. Nightmare, says Bo Boomer. But look. If Lingard is out, great. Probably that would make us stronger, I think, because he's playing so badly at the moment. I'm sorry, Jesse, but it's the truth. But talking about what Zane was talking about there, and I think this is really important. Whatever the team is tomorrow, right? And you look at, if Ollie's going to go with experience, which I think he clearly is, if he's going to play Young, and Young's going to have his armband on, and if you've got Matic in the midfield and you've got Mata playing, these are players into their 30s. You know, they've not had 3 months of football. They've had over 10 years. Very experienced players. What we need from Manchester United tomorrow is probably what every one of you in the comments would do if you were playing tomorrow. We need a backbone, we need some vocality, and we need some leadership, because we are weakened. We haven't got our best midfielder in Pogba, we haven't got our best attacker in Martial, and we haven't really got a left back because we've got Ashley Young playing. So there are big weaknesses in that team that Leicester will look to exploit. How do you, if you are fighting a war, or you're playing Call of Duty, or you're playing FIFA or whatever, and you're down to 10 men, what do you need from your remaining 10 men? You need them to give that extra 10%. You need them to come together. You need, a team performance. And that is something that United, traditionally over the last few years, we've struggled with. We never know what United we're going to get. And tomorrow, if they're going to get a result tomorrow, I'll tell you, Leicester are tasty. Leicester are a tasty team. They'll get in the tackles, they'll be tenacious, and they'll play a game of football. Our only hope tomorrow is that Leicester have a bit of an off day and we match them. And we need some leadership tomorrow. So if he is going to go down this route, and I'm going to be saying this in the match watch along, I'm going to say it after the game in the match reaction. If you're going with experience, they've got to deliver something that experience delivers that youth doesn't. So if he's going to play Matic and Mata, obviously they're slow, but they've got to go and give something that Garner or Gomez wouldn't give, and that's got to be some bloody leadership, which I don't actually think Matic and Mata are leaders, but we need that tomorrow from somebody. Well, not somebody, about 7 or 8 of them have got to step up to the plate tomorrow and run through brick walls for that shirt, because otherwise we already know our team's not as good as Leicester's. Ray Cowley says, okay, Ollie's not naive tactically, as said last night, but still naive and needs time to learn. It is his first full season after all. Ray, I agree with you on that. I totally agree with you on that, Ray. But the problem is, I'll come back. I didn't want to say this again, but it's on the podcast. If you've not listened to the podcast weekly with me and Flex, it's exclusive content on there. We don't mention what's on there, what we do on YouTube. It's an hour. Give it a listen. But what I did say is, I'm going to give you a little bit, is that Flex asked me at what situation would you be Ollie out, and I said, look, I want to give him time. I really do want to give him time. But if you are mid-table at Christmas, you got to go, because that team should never be mid-table. Even that team there, even if Pogba and Martial were out for the season, it's still not a mid-table team. That team should still be finishing 7th or 8th. If it's mid-table, there's a problem with the coaching. So Ray, I think you're right. Ollie needs time, but as long as he's operating around 4th to 8th, he'll get the time in the fans' mind. I think as soon as he wanders down to mid-table, you're saying, yeah, but look, all right, you didn't get the signings you wanted in the summer, and yeah, you've had a few injuries, but you should still be in the top half of the table. And that's something that, you know what, Arsenal have got Lacazette out for the month, so injuries are going to happen, and I think the word naivety does get mentioned a lot around Manchester United, and I think it's a very valid point, because with regards to United and naivety, we are so naive. I wouldn't even say we're naive from a business point of view. I think it's all about saving money. But the injury crisis, I've been speaking to people today when I've been out on social media, talking to some of the lads from the United stand, and nobody has said the words, we're really unlucky with injuries, because fans aren't stupid. And the board shouldn't be stupid, and the coaches will not be stupid, because they're getting paid to be successful, right? Manchester, I haven't heard anybody said, oh, we're really unlucky with injuries to Pogba and Martial and Shaw. We're not unlucky. We get a lot of injuries, and we probably buy players who pick injuries up. Now, I was talking to Chris from Redmen TV in the week, and we were talking about injuries. That's a Liverpool channel. And we were talking about something totally different. We were at an event, and we were talking about injuries, and he was on about the injuries to United, taking an interest empathetically, which I hate. I hate Liverpool fans who feel sorry for us, because we used to do that to them, and it shows you how far we've fallen. But he was saying, I said to him, the thing about you, Liverpool, you're so lucky, you never get injuries. And he said, no, it's not luck. Our owner, I think it's Henry somebody, isn't it? used to own or does own the Red Sox in America, who adopted this Moneyball approach. And the Moneyball approach is all about like it's a formula for buying players. Really, you look at their statistics, how many games they've played, how many times they've been injured, and you buy those sort of players. And basically, they didn't remember they were going to sign Nabil Fekir from Lyon, and he's now gone to Real Betis. And everyone thinks, well, what? You know, he was actually in photographs. They were that close to signing him, and he had a medical. And basically, his knee injury that he had his knee rebuilt with real life human cartilage, and you can have it done with, I suppose, artificial cartilage. And the one that's most likely to recur and cause another injury is the human cartilage one. So Liverpool were like, well, look, the physio was like, or whoever's doing it was like, he might never have a problem again. It might happen in 2 years. It might happen in 3 years. It might happen next month. There is a risk there. And Liverpool were like, no, sod it, we won't do it then. And that, to me, is about, I keep talking about Liverpool, I hate it, but the structure of the way Liverpool have built something over the last 3 years. You look at people like, I don't know, Wijnaldum and Jordan Henderson and Mo Salah and Bobby Firmino. If they've looked at those players and gone, they're good players, but also from 17 years of age, they've hardly been injured over the last 6-7 years. Well, look, you know what? If Pogba's only going to play 75% of the season, but you could have had Bruno Fernandes who would have played 100% of the season, it doesn't matter if Pogba's a slightly better player. Sell Pogba, bring Bruno in, because he's going to play every game. We ain't operating like that as a club. We're not operating like that as a club. Everyone thinks it's all about, oh, we didn't buy midfielders in the summer. That is a big part of it. But it's also the recruitment of the last 6 years. And it's not just, oh, Di Maria was a flop, such and such was a flop. It's not just about that. It's about the players that we buy that then end up getting injured a lot. And I don't have anything against those players. You know, I think Luke Shaw's been very unfortunate after what happened to him with that leg break. But Anthony Martial picks up injuries quite a lot, and he's very young. Paul Pogba always picks up an injury. Now, I'm not saying we should have refused signing those two players, because I like them both, but ultimately, we do pick up a lot of injuries. And it's either because the players we're buying do pick up niggles, or we've got a major problem, and I think this may be the nail on the head. We've got a major problem with our sports science, or whatever you call it, because we've been getting injuries for ages. Did you see any underlying philosophy from Ollie or possession without purpose? Do you see an underlying philosophy from Ollie or possession without purpose? Says Ben Goodman. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, just like you, Ben, and just like me, if we were manager of Manchester United, we would have a philosophy. My philosophy, if I was Manchester United manager, would be get the ball on the ground, be aggressive. I'd want players who are aggressive. I'd want to keep the ball on the ground. I'd want to use the flanks, and when we're down the flanks, I'd want to get men in the box. It's very much what Sir Alex Ferguson used to do. I like to use the width. I love the width. I like wingers who can run at people. I like midfielders who want to gamble and get in the box, and I like putting the ball into the box. That's what I like to do. That's my philosophy. Doesn't mean I could go and manage even bloody Maidstone United, let alone Manchester United. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's philosophy, as far as I can see it, is he wants his centre backs to split. He wants to play out from the back. He wants his midfielders to support both sides and cover the middle as well, but be tenacious and press. He wants his team to press. He wants to get the ball back from back to front very, very quickly. That's his ideal way of playing, but you know, as I said, I've got an idea of how I would play. It's implementing it. We've all got a great idea. You know, we're all treble winners if we're Manchester United managers, but actually implementing it is going to be the key issue, isn't it? Sidant Pisardi says McTominay has to step up tomorrow. He is the one responsible to carry the ball from the midfield. Unless Fred starts, which won't happen, I don't see us winning unless McTominay turns up. I don't think Fred will start tomorrow. I'd be very, very surprised. Zayn Miati says, Mark, you accused Pep of having an open checkbook, but when he was the manager at Barcelona, he created the best football ever seen in club. No Barcelona manager after could replicate that. I don't want to talk about Pep Guardiola, Zayn. I think sometimes you get a little bit lost that this is a United fan channel. So, and I've warned you so many times, just because you're making super chats, I ain't going to take us off on a tangent to talk about Pep Guardiola and Barcelona. It's the United stand. But let's not forget, Pep Guardiola had Messi. You know, it makes a big bloody difference. Do you think that Rojo will start at left back, says Colso Selipi? Only I told you to only blow the bloody doors off. He will only play if Wan-Bissaka doesn't play, because then Ashley Young will shift over, won't he? Because Delo's out injured as well. But just talking about what was being said there about McTominay, I was reading an article from Robbie Savage today, and he does talk some sense and he does talk some crap, don't we all? But he was saying that United need to make 3 signings. He was talking about the sort of Bruno Fernandes, James Maddison, an attacker. But he actually mentioned it in his article. I heard all this talk about a holding midfielder, but United don't need one. And I was like, oh my God, Robbie. Like, we were literally talking about this last night on this show. I think it's the most important position in the United team. That sort of Carrick role, who takes the ball from the back and feeds the players in front of him and shields the team. Like, we haven't got anybody to do that job. There's an expectation that maybe Fred could do it. There's a realisation that Matic cannot do it. And there's a hope that McTominay could do it. But we don't actually... Watch NDD tomorrow. Watch NDD tomorrow and you'll see what a CDM should be like. Like, it literally is. Speed, tenacity, moving the ball from back to front quickly. We desperately need one. And if the club don't think we need one, we are in trouble. Matic, Fred, Gomez, Greenwood striker, if only, says Zalem Price. Well, you've ruined it with the word Matic in there, but, apart from that. And Lee McGawkin says, Mark, Liverpool get plenty of injuries. Alisson, Salah, Keita, Gomez, and plenty more. I think it's just coincidence we have so many right now. I totally disagree with you, Lee. Go back the last 6-7 years. It was even happening with Alex Ferguson. Look at the period between September and November and have a look at how many injuries United have. It happens every year. It's normally to our centre-backs, but it happens every single year. As for Alisson, that's like, everybody gets injuries, but Manchester United, we're carrying 5 major injuries here. 5 major injuries, like Pogba, Luke Shaw, Martial, Delo. Who else is it? Well, Lingard and Wan-Bissaka are carrying injuries as well. Eric Bailly is out as well long term. So look, we're always carrying loads of injuries. And to be honest with you, there's the proof in the pudding. Eric Bailly is probably one of the worst signings United have made in relation to that recruitment assessment. He is Mr. Injury prone, right? Are you telling me either we got really unlucky with Bailly, but come on, I guarantee if you went and had a look, and I don't want to be proved wrong on this, so I'm not going to guarantee, but I would expect if you looked at Eric Bailly when we signed him from Villarreal, and you go back through his professional career from 17 to when we signed him, I bet he's had loads of niggles. And this is what I mean. We're Manchester United Football Club. We never should have bought Schweinsteiger. And I was there. Yes. The video's there. Look at my reaction when we signed Schweinsteiger. Oh, I was like, yes, best signing ever, because I love Schweinsteiger. And as a fan, I'm allowed to not research every single player's physical history. That's not my job. As a fan, I'm allowed to be like flippant and go, yeah, we've just signed him, we're going to win the league. But look at Schweinsteiger, who was carrying injuries for 2 years before that. This is why I didn't want Toby Alderweireld. Now, he's not actually been injured for a while, but for the last 2 years before this last year, he was picking up a lot of injuries. It makes such a difference. There's no point having Lionel Messi if he's only going to play half your season, every season. You need players to play games. It's not rocket science. Ray Cowley says, our board are poor and Ollie experienced, so no winners unless Ollie can, and I think will step up and start a real new rebuild. Look, Ray, I think United fans are hungry for that. And I think that's why I've seen a lot of people frustrated today, because we don't want to see that team on my left. What we want to see tomorrow is, as I said this last night, and now reality's going to bite. Reality's going to bite for you lot, because what did I say last night? I didn't know. Let me just read this comment from Salim Price. He says, Bruno and Sancho higher than them all on FIFA 20. Laugh out loud. Don't know what you're laughing at. They're good players. But I said last night, before we knew all these injuries to Pogba and Martial and Lingard and Wan-Bissaka, I didn't know this yesterday. What I said is that I would rather we played a couple of the young players against Leicester and draw than play the likes of Matic and Mata and win. and scrape a win, because long term, Matic and Mata will lose more games than we will with those young players as they grow through. Tomorrow is that opportunity to do that for Ollie. You know, tomorrow is the opportunity to do what I want him to do. I would love to see Gomez and Chong start tomorrow. I would love to see Greenwood start tomorrow. I'd love to see all three of them start tomorrow, and I would love to see us, you know, put on a good performance and just be like brave. And I would take a narrow loss. I would take a draw. I would. I know people think I'm an idiot and you're lying. I guarantee you I would. I don't think I'm ever going to get to see it though, because we will see. He's already said it in the press conference. He's going to roll out the pensioners. So, yeah. But we've got to be very careful. We've got to be very, very careful tomorrow, because I don't think I'm ever going to get to see it though, because we will see. I'm not going to tell anybody what to think. I never do. But if we get beat tomorrow with Matic and Mata, I sort of agree with anybody who goes mad, because there is an opportunity tomorrow to be brave and play players that are here for the future. Even a Pereira or a Fred, there's an opportunity to try and start building something with players who are actually in their 20s. Matic and Mata don't offer that. So, and as I said, if he goes down the experienced route, it's just a number. These players were picked last season and they didn't step up to the plate. Like, what did Matic and Mata do last season in the last 3 months? Nothing. They let us down. Young, they let us down. So why we make? That's the best thing I can say about this, because I never feel uncomfortable talking negatively about players, because that's just what we do as fans. But I suppose that's the most obvious thing to say, really. Why would you pick Matic and Mata and Young tomorrow and say, oh, because they're experienced lads and they deserve their chance? But then after the Everton game, when I think a lot of those were playing, or they were definitely playing in the last 3 months, they were losing games, and he's going, a lot of these players won't be here, but I will, and I want to build something. But then here we are in a new season, and we're still using the same crap tools as last season. Like, I think that needs exposing tomorrow if it goes the way that some of you are predicting. Because where is this rebuild? Like, you've got loads of injuries. Where is the rebuild? Like, surely in adversity comes the opportunity to be brave. And that's all I want to see. We could pick a starting team from the injury room, says Sean Atwood. We bloody could, mate. We could. Pereira, Fred and Gomez. Yeah, look, there's ways to be really exciting tomorrow. But I expect it to be that team there. And I think that team could get a result. But it's more about Pereira, Fred and Gomez, where we're going as a club. And I don't see with that team any difference from last season. To me, that looks like a team from last season, apart from Wan-Bissaka and Maguire and James, who are good signings. But the core area is always going to be the midfield, isn't it? And what I would say as well is that, you know, I don't want to. I think. I've said this before, haven't I? I mean, I'm very, very lost for words, but I just don't know. I always quote the moderator Paul Robinson on this. I just don't know what we're doing as a football club. I don't know what the board are doing. It makes no sense to me what the board did in the summer. As I've said before, every year we've been in the Europa League, we've always spent loads of money to try and get back in the Champions League. They didn't do that. 60 million net spend, probably the worst net spend we've had. I don't know what Ollie's doing, because he talks about using youth. He says the youth's ready, but he won't use it, and he keeps going back to the same failures like Matic and Mata. And I don't know what this season's going to deliver, because I already feel that it won't be long before fourth is out of. I mean, like, fourth place. Hopefully not. Hopefully we'll get a result tomorrow. We get a result against West Ham, and we get back into the race. But you know, we could conceivably be in October going, fourth is gone. Fourth is Manchester United Football Club. Fourth is gone. Like, and I wouldn't bet against it at the moment. Like, it sounds ridiculous, but I wouldn't bet against it at the moment. So there's a lot of uncertainty at the moment, and I think anybody who tries to pretend that there isn't is very optimistic. Anu Alyapan says, I just prayed Greenwood plays on the right wing tomorrow and puts in a good performance. I'm sure he will if given a chance. Then he will be getting more ahead of Lingard. If Mata plays, I don't want future, Ollie thinks. The trouble tomorrow, Anu, is whether Greenwood starts or whether Dan James starts. Ricardo Pereira and Ben Chilwell are brilliant fullbacks. Like, Leicester are a very, 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 very good team. Their midfield is very good. Their centre-backs are sound. Their keeper is sound. Like, they're a very, very good team. It's such an interesting game tomorrow. Is Matic, etc., naive or just scared to play youth despite his promise? Is he wanting experience or afraid for his job blooding youth players? I think you mean is Ollie Ray. I think it's a great question, and I don't really have the answer to it. I don't know what is preventing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer from picking Fred or Pereira or picking Gomez or Chong. I don't know. Maybe, and I always try to find the positive with Ollie. Maybe he doesn't think they're good enough. Maybe he doesn't think they're ready. So he has, even though Matic and Mata are just not good enough themselves, maybe he thinks they're better than. Well, he must think they're better, because otherwise, why would you pick players that aren't as good as players that you've got? He must not believe in those players. I suppose that's the horrible thing I don't want to say. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer clearly doesn't believe in Gomez and Chong and Greenwood and Fred and Pereira if he's going to go and pick Matic and Mata. It's obvious, isn't it? You know, we can skirt around it, we can have a little barn dance if you like, but the reality is, if he goes ahead tomorrow and picks Matic and Mata over Fred and Pereira and Gomez and Chong and Garner, he clearly thinks those players are better. And if he's right, if he's right, because he could be right, then you're looking upstairs again, aren't you? Because we already know that Matic and Mata aren't good enough, and if that's the best we've got, thank you everybody upstairs. And all I ever see is Ander Herrera walking out with a sad face from Old Trafford with his carry bag. He never should have left. We've got a couple of super chats coming in. Zayn Mayasi, Mark, there is no rebuild. Glazer's just waiting to sell it for lots of money with minimal investment. It's sad to see. Same with Arsenal. Also, we have Laurel and Hardy running both our clubs. The thing about that is, Zayn, I think that's one of the better things you've said. When you look at United, Lukaku and Sanchez out, so they're saving money there. Herrera out, saving money. You know, not spending much in the money in the summer. They're saving money. But the flip side is United are sinking as a club. So the value of United is dropping anyway. So for every million you're saving by not spending, you're losing it in the value of the club dropping. I don't understand what the board are doing. Maybe there's better business minds than me who knows what they're doing. I just think they are non-football people, and I include Ed Woodward in this. He's not got a football background at all, and he gets too involved in football as a businessman. I just think it's non-football people putting people in place in the football positions that they can manipulate who are inexperienced, and they're hoping for a miracle. And Sir Alex Ferguson was so brilliant that he achieved with hardly any resources compared to like what Pep gets with Man City. But Ali ain't going to do that, and Mourinho couldn't do it, and Van Gaal couldn't do it. So we're getting worse and worse and worse, but we're spending less and less and less. It's a weird situation, but I think ultimately, until proven otherwise, I just think we've got people in charge who don't know what they're on about, who are expecting a bounce back. Oh yeah, United are going to bounce back at some point. They're the biggest club in the world. Well, no. You know, I and many millions of fans support this club, but we know the reality. We ain't bouncing back from anything. You know, we're a bowling ball. You chuck us on the floor and we make damage, and we try and push our way down to the cellar. We ain't bouncing back at the moment, but I think there is this expectation that we are going to bounce back. And, you know, Ollie says we're on the right track, we're on the right direction. Not with that squad. It needs 300 million on it, at least. So until you can talk about the right direction, but at the moment that team ain't good enough. Pogba's gone in a year anyway. Your midfield is the polo, and you know you're not going the right direction because you don't know who you're getting in, if you're getting anybody in. So it's, as I say, it's very, very confusing. Mark, either way you still get angry and rant even if we lose. With the youth it's going to happen, I know it, says George Ramos. George, you don't know me at all, and I refute that completely. I wish there was a situation tomorrow where we saw Gomez start, we saw Greenwood start, we saw Fred start, and we had a really good game, but we lost 2-1. I wouldn't rant. I know I wouldn't. I would rant and say, you've got to stick with that team. Stick with that team. That is the future. That is a rebuild. You know, you've got such a low opinion of United fans that you think, oh, if we lost tomorrow with the kids and Fred, we'd all rant. I didn't see Chelsea fans ranting after losing a 2-0 lead to draw 2-2 at Stamford Bridge with Sheffield United, because they can see the vision. After 6 years, I think United fans will be patient if we can see what the vision is. The trouble is, the vision that we're getting isn't a vision. It's bloody deja vu of a nightmare that we saw last season, if you're going to pick that team that's on the left. Anu Palyapan says, when will we start a movement or start reacting to the non-footballing boardroom? Because if we don't, I surely think we will soon be mid-table. Now we've lowered our expectations. It's a good point, Anu, and I keep getting people having a crack at me saying, oh, you should be doing more. What am I supposed to do? What is the United stand supposed to do? Like, I don't like the owners of our club. I think they're dragging us down. But, like, I don't buy merchandise for Manchester United. When was the last time you saw me wearing a United top? Even the ones I bought over a year ago, I don't wear it anymore, hardly ever. I don't buy merchandise. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. You lot can do what you like. But I don't buy stuff anymore because I don't see the point. I don't see the point whether, even if the new Adidas top is nice, I don't see the point in putting the money into the club when they're not putting that money into the manager sufficiently to get us back where we need to be. But it's a personal choice. You can't dictate to people what to do. Like, you know, Old Trafford will be packed tomorrow because it's a 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday. So it'll be packed, but it would be packed any day. It's always going to be packed. So I don't think there is a solution. All you can do is say what you think. That's all you can do. And I've explained this many a time. Anyway, I've overrun a little bit because I must just say, and it's always a personal choice, of course it is. Please do like the video, says Vandy Candy. Yes, please do. So tomorrow we'll have the road trip as usual. Flex driving up to Leicester with his thoughts. So that'll be around for your coffee in the morning. And then we're going to be live at 2 o'clock with the team news, which is going to be very interesting, all the way through till full time. Match reaction, fan cams. It's a big day for United tomorrow, a very big day. So join us. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. What I'm going to do now is something I was meant to be doing at 7:30, but I had major issues with the recording system. I've got a channel called the Mark Goldbridge channel, and I normally upload a video on a Tuesday called Going for Goldbridge, where I answer people's questions that aren't football related. So I'm going to go and do it now as a live stream. So if you didn't know I did that, the link's in the video description. I'm going to be live there in 2 minutes, Going for Goldbridge live, where I just answer any questions, and it's not all about football. So if you want to join me over there for a few minutes, you can do. If not, I'll see you on here tomorrow for the team news. Thanks everyone for watching. Please do smash a like on the video. We've just hit 1,000 likes. De Gea's going to sign a new contract, which is great as well. Join me on Going for Goldbridge. I think you'll enjoy it. Links in the video description. Speak to you in a minute. If not, I'll see you on here tomorrow for the team news. Thanks everyone for watching. Please do smash a like on the video. We've just hit 1,000 likes. De Gea's going to sign a new contract, which is great as well. Join me on Going for Goldbridge. I think you'll enjoy it. Links in the video description. Speak to you in a minute. If not, said stand Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It is time to choose. No more half-truths. No more innuendos about youth. It is time to choose. We will be talking about that. It's Sunday Night Live. Get involved. Loads to talk about tonight. We'll be talking Fred, McTominay, the future for Manchester United. But first of all, let's get a little bit topical. Let's get a little bit topical, because I don't think any of us expected to be in this situation that we are in tonight, where after 5 games, we've actually got the same amount of points as Arsenal. Gunnar Solskjaer, it is time. We've got the same points as Spurs, as Chelsea, and also as ourselves. Yeah, Manchester United. Yeah, because we're Manchester United. Sorry, not the best start. So 8 points we've got, and I think if everybody had been offered that after certainly the Crystal Palace game, to be level with Arsenal, Chelsea and Spurs after 5 games, we all would have took it. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy with that. In a way, I think this weekend has gone as well as it could do for Manchester United. Leicester was a tough game. We scraped the 1-0 result. Well, no, we didn't scrape it. We did deserve it, let's be honest. I loved what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said about we can play a lot better than that. We have played better than that and not won. So, yeah, that's a positive, that he knows that we didn't play particularly well yesterday. We won the game. Leicester are a direct rival with ours at the moment. They're on 8 points as well. And then Arsenal dropping points today is good, because that's where we're at. But interestingly enough, we're only 2 points off Manchester City in second. So it's interesting. I mean, we're 7 points off Liverpool, who are top. Forget that. We're not in that race. And we're not really in the race with Manchester City either. But an interesting weekend for Manchester United, and it just shows you how very quickly things can change. And already I'm watching Arsenal this afternoon, and I'm thinking this United side, defensively, we can shut Arsenal out, and their defence you can get at. So who knows where we could be at the next international break. But to be back in a race for top 4, I think, is as quickly as we are. I don't think any of us expected it to spin as quick as it has, because 5 points after 4 games wasn't very good. But 8 points after 5 games and in the top 4 is suddenly like, well, No, we've got no games in hand. We are where we are. And yeah, we should have more points, and yeah, we should have had a better start than we did. But it's not a bad platform to work from, to bring Pogba and Martial and everybody back into. But what I want to say tonight is this. Quite honestly, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to make a decision. I don't know what you lot felt about the game yesterday. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to make a big decision. I know we've got West Ham next, but we've got Arsenal in 2 weeks. Ollie's got to choose now. He's got to choose now, because when you watch the game from yesterday, as I watched it again this morning, Manchester United were very, very poor up until the substitutions. We didn't create many chances, hardly any. The midfield was too slow. I mean, look, I want to talk about Ndidi and McTominay in a minute, actually, because I want to get through this. He's got to choose now. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has spent a lot of time hinting, flirting, lying, pretending, whatever word you want to use. He's spoken about the youth a lot. He said that they're ready. He said that Greenwood's a better finisher than Martial and Rashford, and they're ready to play games, but he ain't starting them. So United fans will see through that, because I saw the highlights of Chelsea against Wolves last night. I said after the Wolves game that was a terrible point, and everyone was like, Mark. They're not crows, they're saying Mark. Mark, that's a good result against Wolves. Loads of teams are going to go to Wolves this season and drop points. I didn't agree. And I said on Friday, Chelsea will go and beat Wolves and prove that we should have beaten Wolves. I didn't expect them to wipe the floor with them, 5-2, but I thought they would win, and they did win. I think Wolves are not a good team this year because they're playing in the Europa League and we dropped 2 silly points. That's not my point. My point is the way Chelsea went and won yesterday, with a transfer ban, with a manager who is new and inexperienced, with youth players. If you're ready, you're ready. If you're ready, you're ready. Barcelona, Valencia, in La Liga, important game. They play a 16-year-old, he gets a goal and assist. If you're ready, you're ready. The excuses have got to stop. If you're ready, you are ready. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to start playing these players or not play them. And that will be his legacy. He's at a junction now. We got a very good result yesterday, but we've got some very big games coming up. And if Chelsea, the team that never uses their youth, that finds a way out with a checkbook from Russian Roman, if they're going to start doing it, it's embarrassing to Manchester United that we're not doing it. The team Ole picked yesterday, I did the watch along yesterday, the team news comes in an hour before kickoff and people are going absolutely mad. Why is Mata playing? Why is Matic playing? I'm fed up of this. There's no vision, there's no philosophy, there's no future. It's just put a plaster on it and hope that it heals, and it won't heal. And we were in trouble. We were really in trouble. We were in trouble. That second half, 1-0 up, I thought this is going to go the same way as Southampton and Wolves. And then at about an hour, he took Moody Matic off. Did you see his moody face? I was laughing my head off. How moody he was. I thought, that'll teach you to like Instagram posts about our manager, you cretin. Get off. He gets off. Fred comes on. Chong comes on. Now, Chong, I don't think Chong played that well, but Chong for Mata gave us a front three that actually spread Leicester's defence and pushed it back because they're all quick. What Fred did, he has allowed the midfield to go 10 metres further up the pitch. And when we had Mata and Matic on, everything was in our half. That first 15 minutes of the second half, they were camped in our half. The minute he brings Fred and Chong on, we go 20 metres up the pitch because we've got pace, and Fred's got pace. It was the team we wanted to start, but at least he did it with half an hour to go. That's the team to go with. The buzz around Old Trafford, the buzz around our live comments, the buzz around the Manchester United community when he made those substitutions was huge. 90% of fans in the Manchester Evening News poll said they want to see Fred start over Matic next week. This is what he's got to do. Will he do it? Will he do it? United still have the most trophies in England, 66, as Callum Shaw. Interesting. But will he do it? Will he do it? What do you think Ole sees in Matic? Says great banter. I don't know. A nice arse. I don't know. Firm buttocks. I've got no idea. But this is a massive moment for Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because you were right. I said this on my match reaction yesterday. You were right. You were going on about Fred. You were going on about the youth, and it's been proven. It's been proven, and it's been proven bigger than Manchester United. Mason Mount. the centre-back who scored that banger, Tammy Abrahams. They're playing their youth players. You're not, Angel Gomez can't get in the United team. A 16-year-old plays for Barcelona, and Barcelona are sniffing around Angel Gomez. I said 3 weeks ago, if Angel Gomez was at Barcelona, he would have played games by now. I've got people going, oh no, you got no chance. You got no chance. He bloody would. If they're playing 16-year-olds, they'll play Angel Gomez because they're ready. He's got to do it. Thursday's a massive game. He's got to play Greenwood. He's got to play Gomez. But beyond that, he's got to start getting these lads in. When Pogba doesn't perform or he gets injured, you've got to be going to the bench and going, get on, Angel. He's got to start playing Fred. Like, we've seen a glimpse now. He's got no excuse. But my concern is this. I've seen this with Mourinho. I've seen it with Van Gaal. The fans start to realise who should be playing and how we should play. But the manager might ignore that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you are at a junction here. You can go left or you can go right. Left, you're on a slow coach to the sack with Matic and Mata. Right, you're on a jet plane to destiny, famous, legend status with the youth. And that's what I truly believe. Pick the right way. Literally go the right way. He's now and don't go down and don't just sit waiting at the junction doing a little bit of both. Oh, I might go there, I might go there. Oh, I'll give Fred half an hour, but then I'm going to play Matic. Literally, do what Lampard's done. Go the right way and build it. Because we're all excited. There's a lot of people bored in that game yesterday, but as soon as Fred and Chong came on, everybody was engaged. It was suddenly like, ooh, passion. Why would you not buy into that? Why would you not buy into that? Off topic, apart from United, I'm also a major Red Sox fan. I'm from Boston, so you can imagine my horror when I heard they bought Liverpool. Dark days, says the veteran trainer. Totally off topic, mate, but yeah, interesting story. United, we need to see more youth, because right now, Ollie, it's all talk, says Tim Latondo. Look, I thought Ollie, I found the fan, I don't know how many of you watched all the fan cams last night, but I watched all the fan cams last night, and I was interested because my match reaction was really positive, and I got a lot of stick for being positive. You can't win. But I watched the fan cams, and everybody was pretty negative out of that. They were like, we're a bit lucky, we didn't create any chances, the football was a bit boring. But I don't agree with that, because I think winning those sort of games, you can't play brilliant every game. You can't do that. But what you can do is have a strong defence. I mean, Ashley Young was brilliant. I will not hear a bad word about Ashley Young. I will, if somebody does well, I won't slate them. Whether I like the player or not, they're human beings, and if they do well in the United shirt, I will gloat about them and say what a great player they were. Ashley Young yesterday was brilliant. I think he had the most touches, the most passes, the most blocks. He was superb. I ain't got a problem with Ashley Young playing because Delo and Shaw are injured, so there's nobody else to play there, and he did a bloody good job. Wan-Bissaka's brilliant, Lindelof and Maguire did well, De Gea's back. You know, we had a platform to build on there yesterday. I didn't think Rashford was particularly good, but he scored the penalty. I didn't think James had a great game, but he kept grafting, and sometimes you can't do that. And we did have Pogba and Martial missing, so I thought the result was really good yesterday. But the big thing for me was the substitutions. Matic was gutted when he went off. I never could see that coming, and he did it. And I think he did it because he knew what was going to happen. If he kept Matic and Mata on, he could see Leicester getting closer and closer to our goal. He could see another Wolves in Southampton, and he was brave. He was brave, and he chucks Chong into a massive game like that against a good opposition where we're holding out for a win, and he puts him on for 25 minutes. He puts Fred into a game like that when many people feel he doesn't trust him. That showed bravery and it showed trust, and it certainly was paid back. And this is what I mean. He's got this opportunity now. Go and do it. Go and do it, because you're going to get back, you're going to get excitement, and you're going to build something. Just go and play these lads, because they're hungry. You know, I don't think Chong played that well yesterday, but he was hungry. Fred was brilliant. He definitely was hungry. But Greenwood and Gomez, they're hungry as well. I look at Matic, and like, I heard Ole Gunnar Solskjaer say before the game, Matic is chomping at the bit. He's been chomping at the bit in training. What's he been chomping on? A bag of hay? He played like a bloody donkey. You know, like, he was awful. Literally chomping at a bit because he's a donkey. A bit is something you put in the mouth of a horse, by the way, or a donkey. If that's Matic chomping at a bit, I'd hate to see what he's like when he's not interested, because he was pants. I mean, I gave him 6 out of 10 to be nice. I was listening to everybody coming out on the fan cams, and he got absolutely slated, didn't he? But he's slow, he's static, he takes too many touches, and he offers nothing. You know, what more can I say about Matic? He shouldn't be playing for United. I think he wants to go anyway, and I wouldn't bother playing him. I think he's an absolute waste of space. Juan Mata, I love Mata. It's a different story with Mata. I love Mata. I think he's a fantastic human being. But I also think he's done. I think he is done, like a piece of toast. He's done. And I think that the thing that frustrates me most about Mata is he should be coming on at 70 minutes, not coming off. He can't play longer than an hour anymore. He's knackered after an hour. You don't start a player who can only play for an hour. It's pub football, that is. Oh, I'm going to start Jeff because he's overweight and crap and he'll come off after an hour, so you can have the last half an hour. This is Premier League football. If you can't play 90 minutes, you're on the bench, and that's what should be happening with Mata. We should buy Florentino Luis or Ibrahim Sanguer for the CDM position next summer. Also, thoughts on Toni Kroos plus 90 million for Pogba. Swap news, says Brosen. I'm glad you mentioned the Toni Kroos thing. Please do smash a like on the video while you're watching. Toni Kroos is too old for Manchester United. Paul Pogba, if he goes to Real Madrid, give me the money and we'll go and build our own midfield. I don't want Real Madrid cast-offs. Toni Kroos is too old. He could be another Schweinsteiger, come into the Premier League when he's too old and past it. So no, it's a big no from me. But what I want to say is, and I know I'm going to get a few pelters here because I did on Twitter, but I'll say it how I see it, and this is how I'm going to do it. Stick Matic on the toilet duty, says Alien Tenno. The look on Matic's face, though, when he got subbed, he knew he was done, says Smutty. And Mark, I think that Matic will leave next summer, says Milan. He could go in January. He could go in January. It's the pink shirt, Marcus. It's the pink shirt, says Pert NUS. Hey, look, I did that football this afternoon for the Watford game. It was a very good game to watch, and I had the pink shirt on, and everyone said it was nice because I'd just got in from dinner. I've been out for dinner, and I thought, you know what, I'll let the United Stand crew see it as well. But I want to just say this. Ndidi was brilliant yesterday. Absolutely brilliant. Arsenal's a banter FC, says Braden Bennett. Look, Ndidi was brilliant yesterday. He bullied Mata. The amount of times Mata fell on the floor like this, looking up like a lost puppy for a free kick, because Ndidi bodied him on the floor in a fair tackle. He sent Daniel James up to Mars and back in a fair tackle. He is a beast of a centre defensive midfielder. He is quick, he is strong, and he gets the ball and he moves it quickly. I thought Ndidi was amazing yesterday. Now I said McTominay and Fred did really, really well, but we need better, and I would love to get Ndidi. And I had people telling me McTominay bossed Ndidi yesterday, and I was like, I'm like, right, okay. Understand, Mark, that there's people in football who like watching football, have got no fucking idea how it works. How does one CDM boss another CDM? They're 40 metres apart all the time. Like, you don't boss a CDM as a CDM. It's like people used to say, oh, Kante bossed bloody... I'm trying to think of another CDM. Tiet Torreira. You don't do it because you don't play anywhere near each other. You can compare performances, and as I said yesterday, McTominay was our man of the match, but I thought Ndidi was Leicester's man of the match, and I love him. I think he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. I like McTominay. I still think he is a question mark for me. I thought he was brilliant yesterday. I thought the way Ollie spoke about him afterwards was nice, because it'll build his confidence up. But they're the same age. McTominay's about 22, and I think Ndidi is 22. They're the same age, and for me, Ndidi's on a different planet, and that's the sort of CDM I want. I don't think McTominay's got the mobility to be a CDM like Ndidi is, and that is what we need at Manchester United. But I thought McTominay was great yesterday, but I just want to say, I'd had it in my notes from yesterday and I never mentioned it on the match reaction. I thought that Ndidi was fantastic, and I think he is fantastic, and I would love to have him at Manchester United. And I would like James Maddison, and I would like Ben Chilwell. I thought all three of those were good, but yeah, Mata was dreadful yesterday as well, wasn't he? But to be fair to Mata, he's well into his 30s, he's got no mobility, he's got no upper body strength, and he's up against Ndidi, who just absolutely annihilated him. De Gea is the reason we won yesterday, said Callum Shaw. I thought we defended well as a team. I think we defended well as a team. And I just want to say as well, look, for me, the big thing now is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to do going forward. Are we going to revert back to seeing Matic and Mata starting games and seeing Gomez back under the under-23s and Chong in the back in the under-23s? Or are we actually going to start doing it? And I would just implore Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Michael Carrick, McKenna, Mike Phelan. Frank Lampard's embarrassing our football club at the moment. We're the club. Manchester United are the club that plays the youth. Manchester United as a club that's had a youth player on their bench since the 1930s, annihilating everybody else. Manchester United are youth. Busby Babes, class of 92. We are the club that plays the youth, right? And at the moment, there's a club in London wearing blue that is annihilating that legacy this season. They are the club playing the youth. We're not. The most embarrassing thing is we have got the youth to do it. I look at Chelsea and I think, fair play Lampard, what he's doing. He's doing what United do, but we're not doing it. We're talking about it. We're saying we've got these youth lads. They're ready. Let's bloody start doing it. Because I tell you what, Matic and Mata are done. Done. Don't even put them on the bench. Get the young lads on the bench and let's start building this club with some excitement. Get Fred in the midfield with McTominay and Pogba and let's start building this team. That's what we need to do. Yeah, we're going to drop points along the way, but I won't be as frustrated with a team that drops the points with Fred and Gomez and Greenwood involved. I will get frustrated with teams that have got Matic and Mata in it because that's going backwards, it's not going forwards. I agree Ndidi was really good and we need a CDM like him and we need one now, even though we can't have one until January. This is great banter. Look, the reason I mentioned Ndidi is because we've got to sign 2 midfielders at some point, and I would have him and a Bruno Fernandes or a James Maddison. If we had to choose one, who do you pick? Ndidi or Maddison, says Dazu W. Mate, it's easy for me. If I could get Ndidi at United, I'd drive and pick him up myself. I'll give him a piggyback. I would. I think Maddison's great, but we're crying out for a CDM. Matic is finished. McTominay might not even be a CDM. I'm not convinced Fred is. You need a really dominant CDM, and I would go and get him. United play more youth than Chelsea every week, Mark, says Arthur LA. Mate, but I know what you're saying. But they're not youth. There's a point where a youth player becomes not a youth player. Marcus Rashford's not a youth player anymore. Scott McTominay's not a youth player anymore. They're established first teamers that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer inherited. That is totally different to what Frank Lampard's doing. He's gone in and started playing players on his own back. I always said this about Mourinho. You know, Rashford was Van Gaal's. McTominay is Mourinho's. You as a manager, if you're going to play youth, you've got to stamp your authority on that youth and say, I was the one who brought this youth player in. Ollie's got the opportunity to do it with Greenwood and Chant and Gomez because Mourinho didn't use them. So that's what you playing the youth is. I mean, we could, every time Lingard puts a shirt on, he's the youth. But, he's not youth anymore. They're not youth anymore. They're established first teamers. Here he is. Oh no, it's Harrison Grace. Man United just need to have a transfer window where we actually sell players, then get a replacement that will actually bring good skills and who dominates teams who come 5th or 6th. Yeah, look. I think I just hope we're in for an exciting season this year. I do. I think by I wouldn't say it's a miracle, but we are in a race for top 4 again. Tonight, as it stands, we are in the top 4. We're on level on points with Chelsea, Spurs and Arsenal. I don't know how it's happened, but we've got ourselves back into that position. And to be honest with you, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if someone could get him a message, the only reason we're in the top 4 on 8 points and not mid-table on 6 points or 5 points is because you made that change yesterday. If he had kept Matic and Mata on, Leicester would have scored, and they might have scored again. But Leicester would have got a point. We would have dropped. We would be in 2 points less position than we are now. He got the win because he brought Fred and Chong on and he changed the way we played and he pushed Leicester back. So that's what he needs to do more of. Don't be weak and defensive and go old school. Let's move forward. Let's step forward. And we're in that position now. West Ham next week. Let's see how they get on against Villa tomorrow. But West Ham next week is going to be a big game for us. And then Arsenal at home. I think you've got to look at that and try and take 6 points. But West Ham's going to be a difficult game away from home. We're not creating enough chances, and that's something that I think we're all aware of. I think we're all aware of that. We're not creating enough chances. But I don't know how you solve that when you pick a team like you did yesterday. It's very hard to create chances with a team that's got Matic and Mata in it. They're too slow. I said this, Mata kept getting the ball in the centre circle in the second half. He's 50 metres away from where he needs to be, and it takes him about a week with 2 bus rides to get into the penalty box. So, you know, Rashford can't do it all on his own, whether he's in form or not. Dan James can't do it all on his own. You've got to work your way to the box. You've got to have players making runs, and we just didn't have that yesterday. So it didn't surprise me that we didn't create many chances. And to be honest with you, I think the penalty was a godsend, because it was definitely a penalty. It was stupidity by their defender, but we were struggling to create chances. So the only way we were going to win yesterday was to do it the way we did, and I'm glad that we did. But we've got to start creating more chances. But we've been a team that doesn't create many chances for about 3 years now. It's an issue that Ollie's got to solve. Mark, we are a joke, says Zayn Miasi. Yeah, you're Arsenal. And next 2 weeks equals audition for the youth to usurp the veterans, says Sam G. Look, we have got a massive opportunity on Thursday. We're playing Astana at Old Trafford. And look, let's talk about that for a minute or two, because I've got loads of other topics to talk about. But let's talk about that for a moment. Let me just have a drink of this. A massive opportunity on Thursday. We're playing Astana on Thursday night. I'm excited about it. I think, you know, Europa League, we don't want to be there. You know, and the worst thing is you've got to watch all the Champions Leagues before you get to there. I don't want to be in the Europa League, but how exciting could Thursday night be if he's going to play the Ute? You know, if we... I don't know how he's going to line up on Thursday, because Martial, Shaw, Pogba, Dalot, they're not fit. And we've got a game 3 days later. And what I would say is, Sunday against West Ham's a very difficult game anyway. They've basically got a week off, West Ham. They play tomorrow night and then they don't play till Sunday. We're playing Thursday night and then we're playing again Sunday lunchtime. This is the worst thing about the Europa League, and I always say it. That gap is too short. It's too short. And we will have fatigue. So he's got to use the wider squad. He's got to use players on Thursday that he's probably not going to use on Sunday. This is exciting, but it could also be a concern, because I would say on Thursday, you can't play Rashford Thursday, Sunday. You probably will do it, but you really shouldn't be doing it. You've got to play Greenwood. You've got to play Gomez. You've got to play Tuanzebe. But we'll probably see Phil Jones and Romero, because I imagine he's going to play Romero in the Europa League again. And I don't know whether I'm so sure about that, because on paper you might actually say that the Europa League is easier to win. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting, and I think that makes it. This was always the positive of selling Lukaku and Sanchez. Well, selling Lukaku, loaning Sanchez, loaning Chris Smalling, getting rid of Darmian. That's the exciting thing, is that because it really starts to dilute the squad, so that when you do play Rochdale next week as well. But what I don't want to see is that Gomez is on the bench against Rochdale and again on the bench against Astana, because he starts bloody putting Matic in and Mata in again. I won't be excited about that. I want to see those lads given a chance, and if they're going to get a chance in the Europa League suddenly becomes very, very exciting. Was at the game, we need Fred to move the ball fast, says Charlie Beshoff. I totally agree with you, mate. Even though I want Martial and Pogba back, I seriously wish they are not for West Ham, as I believe Ollie might give Fred or Chong a start, says Anu Palupan. Yeah, but you know what, Anu? I'm going to be absolutely blunt here, and this is what we're talking about, a junction. Are you going to go down the route of giving these young lads a go, or are you going to stick using the same old crap like Matic and Mata? Because somebody said it, I'm not going to say I said it, because I'd be claiming a clever point, and I don't do that. Somebody said on one of the comments in the videos yesterday, if Lingard had been fit, not been ill, Angel Gomez wouldn't have even been on the bench yesterday, or Chong wouldn't have been on the bench. One of those two would not have made the bench yesterday, and then Chong definitely wouldn't have come on, because he would have played Lingard. And that's the thing, isn't it? You know, you talk about, well, if Pogba's not back and Martial's not back, then he'll probably play Chong. He won't. He'll play Lingard again. And Lingard, to be honest with you, Lingard's right on the edge, isn't he? Lingard is right on the edge of being in the Matic and Mata camp, where you like, to be honest with you, I don't really want him seeing him playing. I mean, I was watching the Arsenal-Watford game this afternoon, and somebody said, would you rather have Delafeu over Lingard? And I said, I'd rather have the flu over Lingard. I'd rather be laid up in bed than have Lingard playing. I don't want Lingard in the team at the moment. I think he's had his chance, he's blown it, and he's got to work his way back in. In fact, Lingard should probably play Thursday night. But you know what? We could be frustrated on Thursday night. We could be frustrated on Thursday night because we could see a team that is made up of players again that we don't want to see playing, and that's why Ollie's got to make this decision. And as I said, I would just say to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, look at what Frank Lampard's doing, because that's what we want to happen at our club. And look at the buzz around Chelsea at the moment, because that's what we want to see at our club. He's doing exactly what we want to see. Do it. If we don't start playing Greenwood and Gomez big, they will be off next summer to a better team. They don't want to be sitting on the bench every week. That's from the guy. And he is right. He is absolutely right. You know, if you were Angel Gomez and you're not living in a bubble, you've got plenty of spare time, you're on social media, you're watching football, you're Angel Gomez, right? How old's Gomez now? Is he 18, 19? He's like seeing a 16-year-old playing for Barcelona. He is seeing Chelsea do what they're doing, and he is barely getting on the bench for United first team. He will have confidence that he's ready. He will look back on that goal he scored on the US tour and on the Australian tour, on the Asian tour, and say, I've done it. I've already done it in this first team. I made myself look better than some of the crap that we've got. When am I going to get my chance? And United need to give him the chance. They do need to give him the chance. No doubts about that at all. I'm getting really hot. This shirt's too hot. Way too hot. Way too hot. I just wanted to pick up on a quote that Gary Neville's spoken about as well. He says that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs time to clear out the trash. I don't like the constant talk about giving him 2 years. I don't like that talk. It's lazy talk. It's white flag talk. I'm not interested in 2 years. If I hear Ole Gunnar Solskjaer say this is a long-term project, I need 2 years, it would seriously make me question him as our manager. I'm fed up of hearing about 2 years and he needs time. He doesn't need time. What he needs is to show us a vision that we can get behind, and that will automatically give him time. Talk is cheap. As I said, talking about the youth and then not playing them is basically cheap talk. Talking about 2 years but not progressing is cheap talk. We've got to see progression. We've got to see results, but we've got to see progression. And the progression can be many things. Progression isn't always about results on the pitch. As I said, I hate talking about the Lampard thing with Chelsea, but they were 2-0 up against Sheffield United at home and they drew 2-2, but they didn't get booed off because people could see the vision and the progression and the naivety. And then they go to Wolves away, which is a much harder game, and they win 5-2. So they learn from that. That's progression, that's learning, that's building something out. And that's what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got to do. He's got to start building something out, because talk is cheap. You can't, if we'd won that game 1-0 and he hadn't made those substitutions yesterday, there would have been a lot more moaning about it. And United fans aren't stupid. You even saw it in some of the fan cams, even though we did make those substitutions, that people would have been like, we didn't create any chances, we were really boring, Matic is crap, Mata's passed it, and we were pretty lucky to grind out a 1-0 result because Leicester blew it. That's what people would be saying. So he's got to show a vision, and that's what I was a bit frustrated about with the team news yesterday. I was like, I don't see the vision here. I don't see the future. All I see is a big plaster over an open wound that might work today, but the blood's going to pour through and it's going to come off again. I want to see stitches. I want to see proper surgery. I want to see a scar that can heal. And that's what you do with a team that's going to be here for a long time. So the question marks are there over Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Of course they are. They're going to remain. Every game for Manchester United is a cup tie. We spoke about this when the transfer window closed. Every game's going to be a cup tie because we don't know what this United team's capable of. Well, we do. We know they can lose any game. We know they can win every game. Not every game. They can win any game and they can lose any game. And until we get that consistency where we start to understand what this team is and get the confidence with it and get the vision with it, it's all a big unknown. Every player's an unknown. I said about McTominay, played brilliant yesterday, played very badly against Palace and Wolves. So, that inconsistency of a player that you want to get behind is always going to be there. I would imagine if Fred starts against West Ham, he might have a bad game. Do you then drop him and say he's not good enough, even though he had a good half an hour in a big game against Leicester? It's consistency. It's development. It's building. That's what United need to do. And at the moment, I don't feel we know what our best 11 is, we know what our philosophy is, or we've got something to get behind. It's a very convoluted start to the season for United. It's a bit all over the place. Yeah, we beat Chelsea, but then we blew the points against Wolves, then we lost at home to Palace, then we blew the points against Southampton, then we get a good result against Leicester. But it's all very wishy-washy. It's different 11s, it's different tactics, it's different performances. We need to, and that's what you get with confusion and inconsistency. There's not actually a definitive decision been made by our manager yet. We don't actually, and then as fans we're confused, because over the summer on tour you hear about, oh, the youth's ready, we're ready to unleash the youth. We haven't done that yet. He's gone back to using Mata and Matic, who after the Everton game he was like, the some players won't be here, they've had their chance. But then his team he picked against Chelsea was really exciting. So there's conflicting things there, and maybe the manager himself is conflicted, which is why I've said at the start of this video, this is the time for him to make his mark, make your decision. And look, I'd be massively disappointed if his decision is Gomez and Chong, off you go back to the under-23s. Greenwood, you're going to get 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there. Matic and Mata, you're going to get loads of game time. I'd be furious with that, but at least he makes a decision, and I think he needs to do that. Mark, did you have a David Luiz voodoo doll and been sticking pins in him? To Zayn Miassi. I don't need to do that, Zayn. Arsenal defence will always mess up themselves, especially David Luiz. I think he's a banter signing. He's absolutely a clown, isn't he? Anu Palupan says, I think Premier League top 4 should be our focus, as I don't believe we will go far in the Europa League, because our weakness now is against the small teams who defend deep. Most teams in Europa will defend deep. Thoughts? Anoop, I think it's just very early days for Manchester United. I'm very happy with where we are in the Premier League tonight. To be in the top 4, level on points with Arsenal and Spurs and Chelsea, I'm very happy with that. I do think where we could be, if we hadn't dropped such silly points to Palace and Southampton and Wolves, but you know what? Where we are now, the 2 games we've won are our hardest games, Chelsea and Leicester, and we've dropped the points against the teams, like you say, that are going to be more defensive against us. Leicester came at us a bit, and Chelsea came at us, and we won those games. We struggle against the teams that sit back against us, you're quite right. But West Ham won't sit back against us next week. I think away football suits us, and Arsenal won't sit back at us, and Newcastle won't sit back. So there's an opportunity for us to go and get 3 results, and then you get 3 results and you suddenly get quite confident. So I don't know what's going to happen with United's season. I'm not one of those fans who are like, yeah, we're in the top 4 now, we're going to be there all season, this is what we're going to do. I hope that's what we're going to do, but I'm also aware that we could fall off the ladder again and drop down mid-table again. It's an uncertainty that we've had at the club for the last 6 years. What I choose to do is look at the positive, which we have a positive now because we won yesterday and we're in the top 4, but also demand better. And that's why I liked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's comments after the game yesterday, where he said, we didn't play that well and we can do better. And that's what I do. That's what I do as a fan, and I think that's what we all do. Demand better and demand more. But I still think, and I know I quote the moderator Paul Robinson a lot, but I do really want to see a best 11, a vision and a philosophy. And for me, the best 11 should be De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, Tomini, Fred, Pogba, Martial at 9, Daniel James on the left, and the right hand side, to be honest, the right of the front 3, I'm as confused as anybody. Maybe it's Rashford, maybe it's Greenwood. It can't be Lingard or Mata. And then on the bench, I want to see Gomez on the bench. I want to see Greenwood on the bench. I don't mind Lingard being on there as well. I want to see Twansebi on there. And I want to see Pereira on there. I don't want to see Matic and Mata anywhere near the bench. And then I know what his best 11 is. I know we're going to get injuries and suspensions, and I like what's on the bench, and I know that we're going with those exciting players. I can live with that, and then hopefully the football will follow. At the moment, there's too much confusion, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to define what he's doing. And he will define it, because we'll see. When the injuries come back, you look at the bench, and if you see Matic and Mata back on the bench again, and you don't see Gomez and Chong, I think he's making a mistake, and that mistake could end up costing him his job in the next couple of years. But we'll see. There's an opportunity there. I never thought I'd be saying this, but Solskjaer needs to look at what's going on at Chelsea and copy it, or reclaim what was always ours: play the youth. The game will be on telly on Thursday, yes, Richard Thatcher. Greenwood needs to play on Thursday, says Samuel Hapanan. Mark, send Ollie a personal video. You got some good points, says True Ace. Hey, look, he knows this. He knows all this. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows all this. He will choose his. He will make his mind up, and it will be his decision, and he will have to live by it. Gomez definitely needs his chance. Paul Lucas, 100%. Draw, he says. He's talking about Zayn, saying he's probably just a fan of Goldbridge. I think Ollie will play the youth. He will mix with the senior members. You can't just throw all the youths in. What if it doesn't work? All the senior members are not happy and not perform when they come in, says Matthew Chu. Yeah, but Matthew, you know what I'm going to say. Look at Chelsea. They've thrown all the youth in. It's not done them any problems, has it? Yes, they've got people like Kante there. Yes, they've got people like Willian there. But so we've got people like Pogba and Martial. You know, I cannot reiterate enough. I'm bored of hearing that excuse. You can't chuck all the youth in, it's not fair. People are doing it. Chelsea are doing it. If you're good enough, you're good enough. I think that's such a waster excuse, to be honest. And I think United are almost trying to feed us that excuse, which is why some of you are talking about it. You can't just throw the youth in. It's not fair on them. What if they don't do very well? Well, if they don't do very well, they're ultimately not the right sort of player, are they? Play them. Let's see what they're all about. Because I didn't think Chong played great yesterday when he came on, but I saw enough to know that he's got the mentality, the bravery and the confidence to come on and do his bit. Callum Shaw says, rather finish 4th or 5th and win a trophy. Explain. Rather finish 4th or 5th and win a trophy. Rather finish 4th or 5th and win a trophy. Callum Shaw, if the trophy's the Europa League, then I'd probably rather finish 5th. I think Champions League football is what it's all about this year, and it's going to be very difficult to get it. Callum Shaw, if the trophy's the Europa League. Ryan Master, if Ollie plays the Deadwood at the Europa League, then I'll be very. It'll be a very fun game. Laugh out loud. I would rather have Matic and Mata. I would rather have Matic and Mata on the bench instead of Chong and Gomez, if that means play time in the under 23s instead of the last 10 minutes in the first team if they get on, says Cinder Lilby. I don't agree with that though. I don't agree with that because the under 23 standard is shit. It is compared to like Premier League football. It isn't the best. So and also I don't agree with that because you'd rather see Chong and Gomez playing for the under 23s and have Matic and Mata on the bench. But if that happens, that just sends the message out that Ollie favours Matic and Mata over them, which would frustrate me. So I actually wouldn't rather see that. If Gomez was in that Leicester game, he wouldn't have done anything because Ndidi would have bullied him, says Solomon Shakes. Well, he did that to Mata anyway, didn't he? So he couldn't have done any worse than Mata. That would be my argument. In fact, he would have done better. Does Ollie have a philosophy? Says Purple Patrick T24. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had a fantastic philosophy in the first 3 months. He played a 4-3-3. He had Pogba in a more advanced midfield position. He had Herrera box to box. He had Matic CDM. And then he had 3 interchangeable players in Rashford, Martial and Lingard. It worked brilliantly well. What's happened is after that first 3 months, for some reason it all started to go a bit wrong. We picked up a few injuries. Herrera got injured. Herrera then left, and I think that's caused. And Matic has just gone on the decline, as of Lingard and Rashford, and he can't replicate that at the moment. But I do think that is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's best formation, the 4-3-3. With a holding midfielder, a box-to-box midfielder, and Pogba, who is a midfielder but with a little bit more licence to get forward. And then the 3 interchangeable players up front. I think that's his best formation. I don't think we've seen it enough, but I don't know whether he's got the midfield to construct that. I think McTominay has to be the sitter now. Fred has to be the box-to-box, and Pogba stays in the same position. Your front 3 has got to be DJ, Martial, and maybe Rashford or Greenwood. The back 4 is now a lot stronger. His philosophy is to play football higher up the pitch. His philosophy is to move the ball quicker. His philosophy is to be more direct. It's whether he can implement it. But as I've said before, we've all got a philosophy. We've all got a philosophy, and we're not managers. It's whether he can implement it week to week. So his football philosophy, I understand. His best 11 and his bench, that's what we're basically talking about. He's got to go right or he's got to go left. One way you're going with experience and Mata and Matic. The other way, you actually are going, yeah, I'm going to do what Chelsea are doing. I'm going to start getting these young lads involved. and I hope he takes that route. And we're going to hopefully start to see that over the next few weeks, because we have got Europa League and we have got Carabao Cup, and he's going to have to start playing these lads. What they've got to do when they play, you know, maybe they won't start against West Ham, maybe they start against Astana and Rochdale, but it's 2 games in a week, and when they start in those games, they've got to turn it on big style. Because what I would say is, if Gomez plays against Astana and then he plays against Rochdale and he plays average, you've got to say we haven't took your chance. What we want is for them to be given their chance. Thanks everybody for watching. Please do smash a like on the video. It's Peaky Blinders in 15 minutes and I want a quick bath. Subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Smash a like I say. We're nearly at 1,000 likes. Thanks everyone for watching. I won't be wearing this shirt again. It's too thick under these lights. I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Back again at 8 o'clock tomorrow night with the call-in. Big week ahead for Manchester United. We're in the top 4. We're only 2 points off second. Look, let's enjoy the weekend. And as I said, the big positive for me, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's substitutions of Matic and Mata were hopefully symbolic and can be the kickstart to something really, really exciting. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you all soon. As I said, the big positive for me, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's substitutions of Matic and Mata were hopefully symbolic and can be the kickstart to something really, really exciting. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you all soon. As I said, the big positive for me. Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. It's Monday night. We are going to be doing the call-in, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is targeting 2 more English talents to bring into Manchester United in the next 2 months, and we'll also be celebrating David De Gea Day. I've already done the match reaction, not a match reaction, I've already done the reaction to that. If you didn't see it this afternoon, David De Gea signing a new long-term contract at Manchester United. I think it's fantastic news. It absolutely amazes me, as I said before, how some people are quite negative about that. Absolutely amazes me. Absolutely amazes me. Here we are, Manchester United Football Club, consistently battling for 5th, and people are moaning about keeping one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Crazy, but this is what happens to Manchester United when it's being run the way it is, and how, you know, far we've fallen. People just coming out with all sorts of weird opinions, I suppose. But let's fly. Look, there's something I want to get into very quickly into this video, and it's to do with Manchester United's recruitment. And I mentioned it a little bit before, and it's to do with not only buying badly, but recruiting the wrong type of player. But let's talk about this news about, basically, Eric Bailly never should have been bought by Manchester United, and I've got the evidence as to why. It was a terrible signing. It happened on Mourinho's watch, but it just goes to show how bad United have been recruiting, and it's to do with injury records, how the red flag was there with lots of players that we signed, and we still bought them. And did you know, actually, I've got an interesting stat for you. Phil Jones, since he signed for Manchester United, Phil Jones has had 18 injuries. It's amazing, isn't it? 18 injuries he's had for us. Crazy. But let's fly into this news then. So it started off in the Times this morning, talking about James Maddison to Manchester United, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wouldn't be put off by Leicester sort of saying no, wanted to get him in the summer, but didn't think he could get Maguire and Maddison. But he will be looking to go back for him in the summer, and I think Maddison's done enough sort of hinting at the fact that he would like to move on from Leicester at some point, and I think next summer probably will be the right time. Got a good relationship with Maguire, so you would quite fancy that happening as well. But secondly, then there's another story come out this afternoon with ESPN, and this is very interesting because I'm not saying ESPN are credible, but they do mention Maddison. They also mention Jadon Sancho, but they also mention Callum Wilson from Bournemouth, Nathan Collins from Stoke, and again Sean Longstaff. So 5 players there, all of which I think they're all English. If they're not, they're all British. And again, we bought British in the summer. Is that something that you're comfortable with as Manchester United fans?